Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pre-Made Rampage Week 2. Currently is Saturday, August 7th, and we have the Gladiator Gamings playing against North Kansas City High School. So we have a high school team playing against a pre-made team, so we're going to have some pretty spicy matchups. Most players in here are between the ranks of silver and gold.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna be looking for some interesting spicy picks and something that, maybe, you were talking about this earlier before we were talking on camera is some comfort picks from both sides here. So champions that they feel like they know the ins and outs of, something they can't worry if they're in a bad spot, they can easily find a way out of it. So I'm thinking comfort might be the way to go. I agree with you there, but also sometimes the meta pick is just too OP and you can't really deal with it unless you have the right counter champion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was with you a game yesterday where we saw Tom Kench literally rip the game apart, and I feel that champion is still very strong, and I want to see teams either pick or ban it, especially when the champion is quite easy to pilot and pull off in a competitive environment, has a lot of ability to flank with his E, and has a lot of just absolute tanking and damage in lane. So seeing that champion come up would not surprise me, but seeing no one pick or ban it would actually be quite questionable.
Yeah, and something to key in there on the Tom Kench. I mean, his kit can be very complicated, but when it comes to trading and laning, his kit is actually very, very simple. So it's not going to be that complicated to play out in the lane phase or anything like that. And an overall simple laning champion would really, really be what we're looking for here. And you can easily maximize your carry potential by winning your lane on a champion. And already it looks like we have Set, another easy laning champion, taken off the board here. Looks like Tom Kench is on the table. We don't know if it's getting banned yet, and it looks like it is.
Yep, I mean, Tom Kench, Set, they're pretty easy champions to pilot. Almost anyone at any MMR bracket can pull them off successfully. So seeing these champions taken away is a very good sign from both these teams, understanding the meta picks of champions that are strong right now and try to get them away from their opponent's hands. Viego, Nocturne, Aurelion Sol is a little questionable. That has to be a comfort ban because the champion is just not oppressive in solo queue at the moment.
Yeah, and he even got nerfed a while back because of that oppressiveness. They're also going to take out Nocturne. Nocturne pretty strong in this meta right now, and using that global to get around the map, make ganks happen. A lot tankier than he used to be, that's why he's kind of viable now. But, you know, something we talked about in that last game earlier, just making more references here, is, you know, an easy to play team comp. So we don't want anything fancy here, no poke comp, no split pushing comp, straight team fight comp. The game, the meta revolves around team fighting right now. So might as well pick a team fight comp, make it easy for you to win, and it's looking like Gladiator Gaming is looking towards an Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal pick is super flexible. You can go dive, anti-engage, and a lot of other forms and offshoots and modes for a team, and I think he's a pretty strong pick at the moment due to Divine Sunder being a relatively strong item. You know Ezreal's in a really good spot when he's sitting around the 49% win rate because he's a pretty hard champion to play. So when he's sitting close to 50% or ever goes above it, he's doing really well, and I think in his current itemization and meta state, he's probably one of the better AD carries because he's pretty safe along with having a ton of damage, and a good Ezreal will be able to make way more DPS than someone who's not as skilled.
Yeah, and well, one thing Ezreal does lack is that direct team fight damage. However, that's not going to be as much of a problem into Ashe. However, Ashe Braum is a pretty good combo in the bot lane. However, I don't think it's the best into Ezreal, but it seems more of a team comp pick for NKCHS here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ashe does have the ult. She has a really good pick potential, and Braum just has that passive for a lot of good follow-up. Ashe has pretty good range and can do some harassing level 1 with Braum, so definitely have the advantage early on. But Seraphine, Ezreal, they're a poke comp. You can take the engage from long distances. I mean, if you are charmed, which Braum cannot block, I don't
Lulu
believe you can
instead.
block. Ooh, Lulu.
Yep, they went with the Lulu instead.
I think the Lulu adds for some more diversity in terms of what other champions you can play, because Lulu enables a lot of junglers and top laners with her entire kit.
Yeah, and she enables, you know, if you think of something like an Olaf, that's really good to pair up with a Lulu. Makes him extra tankier, can even get him a knock-up, a good CC when he gets on the back line there. You know, and that's actually good into Ashe as well. However, picking the Braum so early lets them pick a very easy Enchanter counter matchup here. So they could have went with Lulu, they could have went the Seraphine, they could have went with the Karma. Point is, though, Braum's very terrible into these Enchanter champions. He much prefers people who like to dive in on him so he can get an easy ultimate and slow them down as they come in. But looks like they're going to be counterpicked in that matchup. And we have an Orianna Azir matchup in the mid lane.
I mean, that is a very, very high skill potential matchup where the better player will come out on top, because Azir is a champion who's able to abuse mages pretty early on.
I mean, he's got the push. He's got
the push. He has his rune diversity is actually quite significant compared to other mages. He can take lethal tempo. He can take conquer if he needs to. He can take phase rush even. Like, it's a possibility. There's so many options in terms of his runes. Like, I didn't even cover all of them. So he could really be flexible for what his team needs, but it's going to come down to how well can he Shurima shuffle people. Getting that R, getting those insects is going to be game changer for champions like Orianna and Lulu, but if he can't hit them, he's not going to be doing a lot of these fights because they're going to have a lot more range.
Yeah, but he should be getting the early prio. So Azir, you're expecting Azir to push in the Orianna early, even though he's a late scaling champion, he has the advantage in the 1-3. And that could give their jungler an opportunity, who both sides are waiting to pick for here, interestingly enough. Give the jungler an opportunity to get an extra Scuttle Crab, or maybe even get a early kill that they both roam for.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to see getting confirmation that that is an Ornn ban. We did miss it. We saw it hovered for a bit, but that's going to be an Ornn and Darius ban coming out of GG here, and those are some pretty strong top laners. Ornn is known to be like the Warlock, Mage, Ninja, Assassin, Support, Tank. You can do it all, has the damage, has the tankiness, and a champion that is a lot more difficult to play than Tom Kench, but has a lot of the same functionality in terms of his engage and CC. So seeing him take it off the table is a pretty good sign, especially since he allows Kansas to just go in. You click his R, they have no way of stopping an Ornult into a Braum, into like there's so much follow-up. So I think that's a really good ban coming out for them. And the Poppy pickup.
Yeah, North
It's
Kansas
gonna
City picking up the Poppy here. But strangely enough, we don't see any dashing champions just yet. What do you think about picking Poppy so early?
I just don't think the pick is going to be used very effectively here. I mean, what is she stopping on the Jazz? You can't stop Ezreal. It's a blink. It's on a dash. Skarner's mobility. Orianna doesn't have a dash. Lulu doesn't have a dash. So what does that W even do besides give you movement speed?
I mean, they've built a really strong anti-dive comp here, but I don't see any dive from the side of Gladiator Gaming. It looks like they're just going to go with a more traditional zoning control mage teamfight champion built comp here. No dive, and that's what a Brahmazir Poppy really loves, so kind of not picking into what their opponent is picking here.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the thing to note, though, is how Cho'Gath and Skarner have to play this game. This entire GG's comp is around Ezreal and Orianna. They need to be hitting as much damage as possible before the fight starts because that is their goal. They are poke champions because as soon as the fight goes out, Skarner and Cho'Gath can only delay the inevitable for so long. And Ashe Braum don't have a ton of initial damage, but Ashe's DPS is a lot higher than Ezreal's in these fights, along with the slow. So it's going to be a poke v poke team fight until whoever pulls the trigger.
Yeah, and I think that for Gladiator Gaming, at least for the early to mid phases of the game, they're going to win the poke department very, very heavily. Now, Azir and Ashe can put out some poke, but Ezreal's going to beat out Ashe, and Azir doesn't really poke that hard till later, more, late mid phase to the late end of the game phase. But Orianna, Lulu, Ezreal, 3 poke champions that should be able to deal fair enough amount of poke to challenge North Kansas City High School here, and also have enough to get their objectives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the composition coming out from the Guardians, or sorry, coming out from the Gladiators, and like
Golden
it's just
Gaming. Oops, sorry.
um and the Gladiators have a comp that's so reliant around Ezreal that if he falls behind, I just don't see their damage. Like, I just can't visualize them winning team fights unless Azir and Ashe just massively in to just get caught and die to the Skarner and Cho'Gath, because Ezreal is basically sitting here saying, I have to hit every single Q and get so much damage that before the fight, they have to reset. And that's the way
Yeah.
he's playing this game. It has potential. It does work. They don't have a ton of objective cleaner power, but what they can do is poke their opponents while they're trying to get the objective and just kind of play for this map control play style, which has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I think that in the early to mid game phases, the damage from Ezreal, Lulu, Orianna should be sufficient to win. So looks like a more mid game focused comp. Even Cho'Gath's going to do some pretty good damage in there. But when it starts to go into the late game phase, even Ashe, like if she, depending on the build that she goes for, right, she could start doing lots of team fight damage. Azir, very well known for doing lots of team fight damage. And having a Poppy Scion frontline, nice meat wall there to protect the Azir Ashe, there's not that many ways that Gladiator Gaming can get through. So on the one hand, we think that, Gladiator Gaming has a better early to mid game comp. I do think North Kansas City High School have a better late game comp. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the note is going to be coming down to how does this game get to late? Because Ezreal and Ashe, I favor Ezreal all the time. He's going to be doing way more. But Azir to Orianna, that's a pretty Azir-sided matchup because he eventually gets that Nashor's Tooth. He has the Hourglass. He has so many other abilities. He can go for Ludens. And I mean, he has all this flexibility and just gets to hammer in AP damage onto the frontline Cho'Gath Skarner, who don't really scale super well. So eventually, Syed and Azir will outscale them. But I feel like most low to mid elo games, it's coming about the objective and map control. Vision is so important and it's so disregarded. So who can ever get those picks, play for those early game of vision and objectives, can definitely take a game.
Yeah, and talking about the vision here, it might actually be not as important as in other games here, but something to do note is I believe Cho'Gath is very, very good if he's not spotted out by vision, especially if you're face checking into him. So his Q, very famously, the rupture, very hard to hit. However, if they don't see you do the animation for rupture, it's pretty much a guaranteed land out of vision here. So the Cho'Gath, Skarner, Oriana, Bush gank here could be very, very pivotal in getting objectives before a team fight even happens.
I mean, yeah, for sure. We're just definitely going to see, or at least I want to see, blue trinkets coming out for Ezreal, Oriana, Ashe, and Azir. These champions are going to need it very much because both these teams do very well if they camp in bushes. Sion's got his famous Q. Braum also has abilities that work well with auto attacks. There's just so much opportunity to get picks here. More on the side of North Kansas, but Gladiators still have their own potential with that Skarner, with that Oriana, and that Cho'Gath. Incredible
Right.
CC tools.
Yeah, so North Kansas City here. You mentioned the Braum. Braum is actually a very, very strong level 1 champion for that invade. And honestly, I hope that they take that into account, use it as advantage level 1 to get some, jungle side that they want, maybe split the map here so that they can help out the Ash Braum or maybe help out the sign on the top side, whatever they choose to go with here. But that level 1 Braum should be used accordingly here.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Ashe is known to have one of the longer ranges for ADCs in the bot lane. So if they're able to abuse that level 1, getting some either lane pressure or that level 1 jungle invade, is going to be very strong because Lulu and Ezreal, they don't have a ton of level 1 damage. Ori has basically ability with a 5 to 6 second cooldown and some okay auto attacks, but Skarner and Cho'Gath really don't have that much. So North Kansas can definitely take a level 1 fight and win it.
Yeah, and I think invading the jungle, something that I was talking about earlier, with the Braum Ash invading you, if anyone gets hit by any slows, I think that's going to spell certain doom for them. Doesn't matter who you are. So maybe North Kansas City get an early invade, get early pry on the bot lane, and then make magic happen.
I mean, yeah, it's just going to come down to, again, getting those individual lane leads will transfer into massive team leads because looking at any of these lanes, there's not one lane that I'm like, yes, this is a hard matchup, a stomp matchup that's going to be super pivotal. Any of these matchups could go either way. So it's going
Yeah.
to come down to a lot of player skill and team coordination to win these fights. So
Yeah.
we're going to really see what team can play their composition better.
So something we've glossed over a bit. So I do believe that this is going to be a Poppy jungle and not a Scion jungle here. So
Uh,
Poppy Jungle, not a very famous jungler, really slow, clear, doesn't have the best gank potential unless there's a wall around. And I'm just using that to bounce off to the 2v2 matchup. On the flip side, Oriana Skarner ganks. That sounds a lot more deadly if you ask me.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can literally just start off with a Skarner ult, pulling people away, and Oriana can just follow up as soon as the ult's over. And I mean, you just feel awful. What are you gonna do? Like, you just CC'd into CC and a lot of damage, and it's just gonna be a really hard situation for Azir or Poppy to deal with. And notably, like we talked about earlier, Poppy has really no targets to cancel with dash. Her W is just a movement speed buff. Meanwhile, Ashe and Braum, they need to be hitting ults in these team fights, but depending on how far away Ezreal is able to position himself to do damage, will make them almost null abilities, have no effect outside. Like, what do you hit Ashe? Ashe goes into Cho'Gath. What does he care? Like, he has tenacity. It's not going to last that long.
And Ezreal very good at dodging skill shots as well. Now I have a question for you. If you are Illy musician right now, if you are playing this Azir, do you bring cleanse? Because I'm probably considering cleanse teleport right now.
I'm considering it depending on how comfortable I'm on the matchup. I think Azir actually a lot of people don't realize is he has a pretty good escape with his W
Yes.
and E,
It's
and especially with
farther
his
than you
Q.
think, right?
It's a really far. You actually can get from red buff to the pit, Baron or Dragon, just by using those abilities. It's actually quite far, basically the entire laning phase. So unless someone tries to interrupt you by being in front and stopping you, because if you do hit someone during your E cast, you do stop, they take damage. So unless someone can stop him from using his E, he's just gonna get instantly out of there. And as long as he saves an ability and a hand soldier up, I think it's gonna be really hard for Skarner to gank unless Ori can start it off with a shockwave.
Yeah, and you can go over walls with it as well. So Azir maybe would want to have good vision on the jungler side. So if he's tracking jungler, make sure there's vision on there so that he can hop over the wall because that's not something Skarner can do very easily.
Yeah, for sure. But what do you think about the rune choice for Azir? I know I talked about this earlier and there's a lot of options, but what do you feel like his main rune is going to be into Oriana? Because that definitely determines how each of them play this matchup.
Yeah, that is interesting. And maybe to get things started a little early, I might go Comet and hope that Oriana stays in the wave so I can get more pushing power to prio somewhere else. But getting getting some other, there's like a lot of other options as well. So maybe the tempo gets you faster auto attacks. That would help in the late game, but I'm more focused on early game, making sure that I can coast through there because I'm confident that this late game comp will win in that point in time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're gonna send it off to a break, and we'll see you guys when we get into the game. Hello, guys. We're jumping right onto the Rift, and we're going to see a Conquer Azir playing into a Summon Ari from that Orianna. So this is going to be some interesting rune picks coming out for that more team fight and healing. And going to see a 5-point pivot. No level 1 abuse from Braum.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a mistake. I think you definitely want to utilize that advantage, and you can really set up a nasty snowball if you get things going your way here. And I think it's just a bit of a shame there. I think the Braum really could have been used that way.
I mean, yeah, you always want to be using your picks to the most effectiveness at all points in the game, but it looks like we're going to see the early mana flow bans picking up for Ezreal. I believe he is taking the sorcery tree second. And that's actually pretty common among Ezreals at the moment, just because the other tree isn't too useful. Boots in this comp might be a little more important because of that Predator, but he can't really pick his runes before his opponent, so not too much he can do.
Yeah, but talking about this Azir here, so Ely Musician didn't go with the cleanse idea, didn't like what we had to say about that. Instead goes with the flash teleport here. So I'm thinking we might see a gnarly gank at level 4 here on Sexy Beast.
I mean, looking at everybody, we currently see only one person with flash on F, and everyone has flash on D. So, uh, gonna see if this matters at all in the end, especially for that Lulu
Yeah,
starting the
so
old rivalry.
it looks like both junglers are going to start on the opposite side. So that's keying into me here. It looks like Gladiator Gaming want to set up something on the top side for the Cho'Gath. Makes sense. Monster scaler. And can pretty much handle the Scion if he gets ahead early. However, it looks like Hugh Doggo Noises is going to try to path to the bot lane for this Ashe and Braum here. So maybe Scary Fields and High there can get an early lead themselves.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, currently seeing the poke coming out from Ezreal is very scary for Ashe because Ashe does outrange him, but Ezreal's Q actually outranges almost every ADC outside of maybe the Q coming out from Senna, but even then, so there's not too much that Ashe can do. She lands her own W, she pushes the wave, and we're going to see a
Oh, we
level
have a gank.
3. It's going to get the stun though, but it's not enough damage. They really can't kill anyone there without the ultimate. That's going to burn his flash.
Well, they didn't burn a single summoner spell themselves. And Azir is already down a flash. And he's going to have to play safe with this pushing lane here. So probably going to have to lose Prio on the mid lane, lose some CS, take a bad back as well at the same time. And man, that is an early gank, but it pays off very well for Gladiator Gaming.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I was the Azir right now, I would honestly try to be taking the corrupting potion starting item just because you're not taking Comet. You really don't need to be getting that additional AP to poke, and you can match Oriana's push pretty easily with your Sand Soldiers due to how long they last and where they are in the wave. What you have to be worried about actually is over pushing with Azir. Not pushing enough. It's always over pushing. The champion is very easy to get caught out with, and he's already at 200 HP in the top lane. Or sorry, in the mid lane.
I don't think they're going to be able to contest this bottom scuttle. We'll see if they go for it. They do have push in the bot lane, though, so that might shoot it over to their side instead. But their bot laners are backing right now, and there's a mid laner and a jungle in the river. This is going to be a 3v4 if they go for it, and it looks like it is going to end up that way. Azir's not going to be there. He has to teleport back in time later.
Yeah, we're gonna see him just see the 3v4, and it's just too much damage. The sun's coming out from both. The flash from other side. Ashe is gonna burn her heal as her jungler is on the backside. First blood for Orianna as they're gonna see the Azir TP to the bot side. Double kill for Orianna as they continue to follow up onto them as Ashe is trying to get damage. They're trying to
Oh,
kill it.
Bormask.
They kill for Azir.
No.
And they're just running them down. The power of the slow, but look how low Scary Fields is. He's going to have to burn his flash. The flash comes out from the beast. He's going for the auto attack
Oh,
to
that was smart.
follow up. And that's going to be a kill for the Azir, getting that double kill to match it up in the mid lane. But Azir is going to see the
Oh,
teleport.
top laners are coming in now.
Everyone's coming down for the bot lane fight. It's what we like to
huge
see.
rupture.
The massive stun from both of them is going to get on top. That's going to be a 4th kill for Orianna as they continue the tower dive. Sion's forced under the tower. Oh my god, what was that fight?
Oh man! Oh, Cho'Gath gonna lose a huge wave though. This is not. This is keep
Oh, and
going
they see
here.
another
Skarner
fight.
going in.
As Garner's going in, as Cho'Gath shows up getting the slow, and they're going to see the auto attack fall to 300 HP, but Braum shows up too. Everyone's coming here. They're fighting for this if I've ever seen one. This is the most valuable Scuttle Grotto I've ever seen. As Ezreal's over the wall, trying to take her out. He gets stunned up against the wall, gets the auto attack, burns the flash, goes over the wall. He has the Ignite on top of him at 1 tick away, and he already has to look to reset.
Oh, he's gonna stick around though. Gonna try to land some poke. He's playing a dangerous game as he is in the face of Braum though. But the cute doggo noise is in high. They're gonna back away from this situation here. Bormask in the face of danger shoots back at it. And it looks like Cho'Gath is finally gonna go to top. He's lost a lot of minions though, and the wave's pushing away from him. So that might be a bad scenario. But man, what a great skirmish right there.
I
What
mean,
a
level one,
absolute
the teleports from everybody, dude. You like to see the fight, the aggression coming out. We currently are seeing some pretty significant CS leads in the top and gold leads in the mid.
Yeah, I think Cho'Gath teleporting bottom there sacrificed a lot of CS. There's a huge red wave in the top lane that Cho'Gath did not get, and the Scion got more on top of that because he's going to get here first and push in another wave. So this Cho'Gath is massively behind. Maybe shouldn't have went for that teleport though. However, they did get the kill advantage at least, so it's going to even out the score for the team overall, albeit if Cho'Gath is behind, as Cho decided to get Swiftness boost. I just see that right now. A bit confused. Oh, Orianna though, 4-0. That is massive.
Yeah. She's just going to do a lot of damage. She currently has the equivalent of 3 starting items and that lost chapter, so they're going to have the additional scaling from tier. Yeah, I mean, this is going to make Zero thinking, oh my god, guys, we fought this. And he ults, no! We forgot to E! Oh, that's so sad. Waver is trying to get away. She gets the movement speed buff, and she's playing around the wall. Ooh, he's going to caught him out there. Waver doesn't have flash, but that's going to be a 700 gold bounty. You pick up for the Poppy, and that ultimate coming out from a musical, it was so close. He just clicked E, but then his R went off too early.
Well, it looks like it, at least gave fear to Wafer there, and it led to the kill anyway. However, not going to be that big of a deal, as Sexy Beast is on ill position.
It's the famous shop gang. Players are in their shop.
He didn't have his ultimate though.
I know, if he did. Oh, Ezreal's able to dodge and get some good damage for himself, and Cute's just...
That's the Ezreal Poppy interaction that we were talking about. Poppy cannot do anything. There's no way she can get on this Ezreal. If he has the phase rush or phase shift up.
Yeah, but look at the top lane matchup. Even though Scion is burning a lot of CS himself, that corrupting potion start is allowing him to get this push on the wave and just keep this CS.
I mean,
the mana
let's be real here. The swiftness boots is not helping due to Dunga right now, because he has no combat stats, and if he keeps trying to run into Scion and fight, well, those boots of swiftness aren't really going to be helping you.
Yeah, I'm kind of questioned why he don't win for those. I mean, maybe he's going for AP Cho'Gath, but I just don't think that's the option they really need. Yeah.
And that is looking like we have a pushed-in wave here. Are they going to go for the dive?
Ezreal, he's going to get himself out, though. They all come down to Ash, and that's going to be so much damage. But Poppy, there's the follow-up. That's going to see the 1-for-1. Ash is going to fall down to Ezreal, though. But that's going to be able to come out from Skarner to pick up another kill. The bot lane is light, and they're going to see another wave crash. Cho'Gath is bot side to look for this dragon.
That was actually a very well executed dive from Gladiator Gaming. Didn't even need to risk that much, as Orianna had enough range to do enough damage and CC safely away from the turret. And they pushed in a wave there, and they managed to get all the minions to die. So I have to say, very well executed. And they get a dragon on top of that as well. So looks like Gladiator Gaming is willing to make the plays early. And that is exactly what we talked about. What their comp needs to do is get ahead in the early and mid game. And they're doing that just so far.
Yeah, I mean, look at how much gold Orianna has over Azir. Even though she's died, she's still up by over 700, and she's looking to continue that towards her first boots. I mean, Azir can poke her now, but she still has that flash available, and unless Azir can go for an insect with his jungler, he's going to have to burn mana to keep pushing the wave.
Yeah, and shout out to Sexy Beast here, making sure that Orianna picked up the kills in all those skirmishes there. You could see it when they were getting the kills. He was making sure that Orianna would get instead of him, which is, in my opinion, very, very good jungle play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's currently got the boots into the double Ruby start, so he's looking to pick up that Thunder and, I mean, sorry, the Bombies. But currently looking at the gold lead, it's quite even given the current laning state.
Yeah, it looks like the farm hits that they took on top side is really hurting them right now. And they did give over a bounty, not to forget. Orianna, 400 just extra free gold than normal was given over. It did go on the Poppy though, which is actually a better target than the Azir. As we have Bormask and Lop getting pushed in here. But it looks like
they're
nothing
just gonna
much
freeze it. Braum has to go up to auto attack this. He needs Ash to burn the W to push this wave in, but he's getting auto attack pressured from Azir, and they're just gonna come down to the mid lane as Waver's gonna flash away. Bobby's gonna try to get in front of her to stop that from happening. Meanwhile, we're gonna see Skarner gonna pop the ult. Ultimate down so far. He's pulling away. He wants to save his mid laners. They're gonna get out, but Azir is going to follow up. They need to burn the flash, but he's gonna see the Ash ult come down. It's not gonna connect with any targets.
Yeah, and it's quite perplexing that Orianna is not getting the prio here with Sexy Beast. It seems like they're the ones that should be getting the ganks first here, if you ask me.
Yeah, the thing to note though is that if actually Musical flashed into then placed WQ, he would have killed Waver. Waver was so low that he just fell outside of the Soylent Soldier range. But I just don't think that Musical thought he needed to. I think he thought he could kill him with how low he was, but just a sliver of HP.
Poppy looking boss side. This might be a gank.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to overpush, though. They're going to see this going up as an ult coming to come down, but Ezreal's going to get the kill instantly on top of them as the ult coming down as the TP comes out as well. It looks like Cho'Gath is going to help his teammates with this fight. Going to get the knockout as the ult coming down to hit only the Poppy. Ezreal and Sion are going to try to push away as the Knight is burned as the fight slowly de-escalates. Did they miss the stun there at the last hit? It looked like they were going to get the stun, but Ezreal did not get stunned at the end there. I don't know.
Oh, we have an ultimate coming out.
Ooh, that's so low. He's barely able to survive.
If Orianna had flash, that would have been a kill for sure right there.
Ooh,
as Didunga might be pushing in too far here in the 3 members.
He flashes forward though. He tries to go for it, but he's so far away.
Yeah, he didn't land that rupture on the Ashe. If he did though, that probably would have been a kill.
Yep. And we're going to see his itemization potentially lean over to tank. He's already down by 30 CS, but Skarner's pushing him that way topside. As we're going to see a gank coming out from mid, but she's just quite fast. Ooh, teleport from Azir is going to get burned as she's so low, she doesn't even need her teammate. She's going to use that W to moving speed, but Poppy's already there, and that's going to be a kill secured for the Azir.
Yeah, heads up play for the Skarner there to push in when you know that their top side is not going to be there. However, it looks like you're going to be running into a terrible situation. A 2v1, Poppy going to slam Skarner into the wall. Sion going to come back with the big knockup. Sexy Beast has to burn the flash. Poppy going to try to chase him down, but he skittles away. What's the term there?
I'm sorry, I don't know, man.
What do bugs do? What's their term for walking? They don't really walk.
I would say Slither, but that's snakes, so we're not.
Yeah, that is definitely snakes.
There's no Cassiopeia in this game.
No. Well, with that, let's take a look at the current state of the game. Gladiator Gaming, a small, albeit real, it is their gold lead, and it is, I guess you could say it has been growing, but not by much.
I mean, it's very small growth, and a team that needs to be getting some significant leads for their AD carry is not going to be doing a lot. Their top lane is just losing by so much, and their mid is not ahead enough. They're over pushing without vision, and that's going to cost them. Their mid
and they're even in a vision deficit right now.
That Hex Flash coming around. If we're going to see the ult, he's stuck in the middle of them. He ults Azir, but it doesn't matter. She's going to end up falling, but she's going to get so close.
That was close. She canceled the Azir shuffle there.
Oh,
that was a little wide. Canceled the Azir shuffle, but put herself in harm's way with Poppy. Sexy Beast trying to make up for it, but isn't going to be happening anytime soon. Dragon is up, and they do have a missing mid laner here. So maybe North Kansas City can take it, but they're going to try to use Prio instead. And man, the Dunga is kind of getting beat up here on this top side.
I don't know. I feel like Wafer took the blue trinket a little too early. I feel like he needs to be staying on top of that for a while. He needs to be staying for that yellow. He needs the vision.
At least on like 3rd or 4th dragon, right? I think that I agree. It's a little too early.
Also, it makes more sense for AD carries because they're in bot side and there isn't as many bushes or ward, I mean, and they have that support vision. But they need to be mid laners need to be buying control wards on every back. That's how much pressure we're seeing in this lane.
Yeah, I think right now what we're waiting for Gladiator Gaming is their item completions are almost there. It's not there quite yet, so maybe they want to wait for this next dragon. Honestly, Cloud Drake, not super important, but if they want to go for a quick Dragon Soul or a Elder Dragon, they would probably want to take it now, but they don't have any items completed just yet, so it would be a bit of a risk. As we have a gank going down in the mid lane. Oh, Sexy Beast going to be knocked down under the turret there, but he's going to be able to get off the ult enemy. and he's going to get stunned up and finish off by the Orianna, and that is a bounty going over to Orianna now. So not only does she have she had a huge kill streak earlier, she just mops up Azir's bounty right back into her own pocket.
Coming out as the bot side. It's a 1v1 between the junglers. Meanwhile, the bot laners are also in their own skirmish. Orianna comes to roam, but look, that's a dead Azir. They're not going to get the follow-up. The ult comes out from Ezreal. It's not going to be enough. The splash is burned from both sides. Braum might die, but Ash pulls the heal, and they're trying to run this down. He has a flash in the forward.
Oh, the ball.
Well, the ball is not enough. They're trying to go forward as Ezreal is auto-attacking with the slow from the Lulu. She's so low, but no members are going to fall.
Yeah, that was very, very close from North City, Kansas High School right there. They really could have let a lot more members die, but they grit their teeth, they pull through, get their members out. That is going to give them the Dragon over to Gladiator Gaming. However, Cho'Gath is sacrificing more, continuously just losing Cryo, and is still roaming instead. So that's going to lose them the first turret of the game as well. But it looks like the plan is Cho'Gath sacrifices for the rest of the team, and maybe he just holds lane against the Scion.
The thing to note though is Cho'Gath, unlike Sign, does not scale as well. He thinks Cho'Gath, yeah, he clicks R, gets to get some extra health, but he has to be really killing champions and gaining health forever. Meanwhile, Sion's like, I just kill creeps, I gain HP, it's just free gold.
They both scale very well though. It's hard to say who exactly wins at what point.
But I think the Scion is just way more useful in this game. Just clicking that R, in those late game team fights, he can be the trigger that they need. He can be just going in and getting those knockups and forcing the Cho'Gath and Skarner to burn their abilities.
So they're going to do Rift Herald here, but they've totally lost their pride in the mid lane. Oh nope, looks like Azir actually is going to pick it up just fine. Free Rift Herald. Yep, and that is a miss there.
Flash smash.
That wasn't going to risk it there. However, I think Ezreal was going to miss that anyway.
You know, if I was Ezreal, just for the style play, a really cool thing you can do on Ezreal, but not a lot of people know, you can actually start your R up and then flash right as you begin to cast it, and they don't know what direction it's going in. It is very hard to dodge that way.
It's pretty tricky to also land as well. You have to understand how the mechanic works. Right? That is, buffering moves it's insane what you can and can't buffer in this game, but once you know, it'll definitely trick a few people.
Yeah, for sure. Because especially in the bot lane, when people have those Witch Ends first items, they have a lot of movement speed early. And we're going to see another tower fall first, 1-for-1. As Poppy, I don't think she can 1v2 this lane with the Lulu and then Unite. Ash Holt's going to hit the champion though. When they have to walk away, the TP comes down, and it looks like Cho'Gath is here, and Cho'Gath just gets knocked away. He's all the way already to get out as he solo kills the solo bolo against the musician.
I mean, she's 7-3-1 now. She is absolutely massive in this game. 2.5 items in already, so a half item up this Azir. And looks like she ain't stopping anytime soon. I'm looking forward to Wafer in the next team fight. Gonna do amazing damage. Gonna be shielding, support, Orianna supports damage. She's got everything.
Dude, what is that ult cooldown? As we currently see a top lane skirmish, dumb tanks getting dumb tanks. As he they're gonna flash double.
They both do.
But he flashes away, they can't follow. Wait, Poppy's here, they can't follow.
Oh, they're gonna try though.
They're gonna try, but can they
Poppy's gonna try to knock down the mid lane turret. Isn't gonna get it though. And I have to say though, those flashes are definitely not worth it. Even for Scion, to be honest. Because Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes. You just burnt your flash, basically, for the next Dragon.
Yep.
And that fight's gonna be huge. It's gonna determine the game. I don't see any reason, especially for Skarner, who is basically the one where you want to keep flash up for a guaranteed pick, right? So Skarner has the flash ultimate, can basically scoop up any opponent that he wishes right before a team fight, and now that opportunity is gone.
Yep, and this is the difficult part about playing Ashe and Ezreal, is Ezreal and Ashe both don't do well in their towers, so whoever gets that initial lead is able to put the other one on top of it. We're going to see Ezreal going to dodge the Bramble, as he's going to see Poppy show up right away. He's trying to get himself out, so the healing and the slows coming out from that Moonstone is going to allow him to stay alive. He doesn't even care about the opponent. He's going to miss the ultimate, the Ignite coming down. He's just auto-attacking 1v2ing. He's just so tanky. Who needs a Uni when you got this type of damage? And the heal is coming out. But Ashe, you step too far forward. He's able to take the kill from auto attacks alone. Meanwhile, the jungler shows up, but he's going to get his own kill. He's going to get a double. Focus his eyes onto the Scion. It's just not enough.
This is a 2-man army right here. Bormask and Love absolutely decimating their opponent. Looks like it's going to happen again. Actually, they're on even footing this time.
Oh, He has a Shurima shuffle. He could go for it if it's necessary. He can instead pop the healing away. He needs to get around over that ult. He's going to actually force the flash away. And he's going to lose the ability for some crazy success. But Ezreal is just a two-man army, like you said, providing so much damage.
I mean, this is why Lulu is such a strong champion, and they had such a dominant lane phase as well. I know Ezreal picked up a few kills right now, but they got the turret down. They built up farm. Ezreal was scaling with the tier just fine. And Lulu provides lots of extra damage, not something that Yuumi can do, right? Yuumi does her own damage, but she doesn't amplify damage like a Lulu does. And you can see the power of that right there.
Dude, you see, oh, that's going to be a 1v a solo kill again for Orianna.
Oh, she just has so much burst damage right now. She's 2 items now. She's
Look
2
at the gold
items.
difference between the 80 carries. It's almost 3,000. 3,000 gold difference.
Now they did lose Prio on this dragon. If North Kansas City knows, they could try to rush it right now, but it looks like they're going to be way too slow.
Yep, it looks like we're going to see a fight come out. They're trying to get on
Skarner
top
has
of it. Look, here comes the Cho'Gath, though. Ezreal's going to hit almost no one with the ult, but that Skarner is going to secure the kill for Lulu as they get onto it. Not the best target, but look at Braum. Dude, Boardmask can just play as a tank in front of his enemy team because he's just not scared of them. They don't do enough damage, and he's really doing what he needs for his team, providing so much utilities with the Orianna, just doing these ultimates, this damage, just this escape, and being the one-man army.
I don't even think Lop has had to ult Ezreal yet.
She ulted him that last time. It's been twice.
Yeah, it hasn't been that much. He's been pretty safe with just the shield. Also, the shields that Lulu's putting out are actually huge. It's a lot of extra HP. This is a very, very big bot lane right now.
I mean, currently seeing it's so bad on the region of Baron. He only really sees the pit and some of their cover.
This is a bit of an early Baron.
You can see the entire map. We're going to see a teleport come down. They need to contest this. Ezreal does a great job at taking
Orianna's going to be late.
Oh, they're going to see it on the Astral, though. Is she going to ult to go in, though? Orianna's TPing on top of the bomb. Comes down inside. It looks like Luca's going to see a full man ult. These shots will come down from both teams. But the Ezreal is too big. He can't do anything, though. They're going around for both the players, and it's just can't do a jump in. Ezreal is just continuing up and doing so much damage to his team. And that's going to be a flawless Baron and Team A.
Oh, that's a free Baron. There's a 2. Now that was a valiant effort by Elite Magician. Kind of knew what he had to do. Might have rushed in a bit too early, but as you can see here, Gladiator Gaming's comp really good at the mid-game team fight there, and even with taking all that Baron damage, was basically able to sweep the enemies clean, 5-0, and they have a Baron now, and they're basically all set for a win.
I mean, yeah, this is just the thing. Pulling this game slowly towards the finish line through bleeding out your opponents. You have some more time. You can give up to 3 dragons if necessary to just put pressure on this map. But with the current Baron buff, you just split top and mid and force your opponents with Orianna or Cho'Gath to go bot because they have TP and look to get more towers.
I mean, now with the Baron, they should be able to get all the outers. They should be able to get the second mid-tier turrets as well. And I think they're just going to bait the next dragon, and that should be a free cleanup as well, judging based off the last one. And with that, that should be their steamroll to victory right there, and massive, absolutely massive gold lead right now.
Approaching the 10k mark, and we're currently seeing a 13 kill deficit along with a Baron and 3 dragons. I mean, they only have 2 turrets on the side of North Kansas, and they really need to be picking something up. Going for a potential flank, but Cho'Gath is here. The flash comes out forward, though, but she's going to hit against the wall. Azir does not have his ultimate, though, but he's going to get ulted canceled. He's going to pick up the kill, though. The flash comes out. He misses the Azir ult. He can't push him away or get any damage. But look, the Ashe and Braum are here. They can take this fight. But Lulu and that's going to be some speed coming up. They're going to try to get on top of him. He gets ulted away, but look at Braum. He's taken all the way into the enemy team. Ult comes out on the Cho'Gath as they're following up. Ezreal doesn't even care. He pushes mid.
Yeah, weird going for that fight right there, and also Wafer just pushing up way too far. Didn't have pressure from the rest of the team. Sion getting pressure on the other side, and now Sion could probably teleport back if they ever enter a fight and get a huge advantage. Boardmask and Lob kind of playing dangerously right here. Sion could come from behind. They could get flanked. It might not happen, though.
I think the thing to note, though, is Ashe and Braum need to punish Ezreal for playing far up. You literally need to just Ashe ult, Braum ult, they just need to go in. Ezreal is having his field with your HP bar right now. Passing ult, forcing the heal instantly. And Ezreal, look, Braum.
He almost got Braum right there. He almost got high there. That was very close. Bormask is not afraid. Now, I was going to mention this earlier before they team fought randomly, but it's going to happen again. Gosh darn it.
Oh, that's Ash, you're dead there. And Ezreal actually misses the E engage, but it doesn't even matter. The thing to note, though, is Ash and Braum aren't using their abilities to punish Ezreal when he hits with Lulu, because he can't really do anything after taking all that CC to the face. And look, the Lulu damage on top of all the Ezreal autos. They're just sieging the base.
Yeah, and with a man down, they're gonna be at a disadvantage to defend this inhib here. So that's gonna give it over to them as well. Dragon's coming up in less than a minute here, so they could probably try to get the bottom inhib. It's not necessary though for this dragon take.
Oh, they forced the shield coming out.
Oh, they want to end now, but Baron's done. Baron's gone.
Baron's gone. I don't think they have the wave pressure though, as we're gonna see, but Ezreal has the damage. He has the ability to get his ult back so quickly.
Oh, Gladiator might have overstayed. I think this is the time that North City High School should go for it. Oh no. It was one target though.
There's one target. They're going instantly onto the jungler, but it doesn't matter. Your target needs to be Ezreal. He's the damage, or Orianna. One of the two that isn't getting poked away as good damage, but it's not enough. The polymorph is too strong. You get 2 members out. This is your moment to turn. Go on top of Ezreal right now. But the kill is taken by Ezreal. He's the auto taken away. Another kill. The kill stomped on. But again, Ezreal's in the lead at all, and he's still going to survive. But eventually he's going to fall down. But still, there's 4 members of the Guardians up. And they're just going to be pushing North Kansas' Nexus with the Azir, the last remaining member, to survive.
And Gladiator Gaming going to win another team fight. The Death Timers might be too low for them to end the game right now, but they're going to go for it. One turret down, halfway there. They lose the Orianna. Very importantly, looks like they're going to back up after that. And they definitely have overstayed their welcome at this point here. But they're definitely flexing their muscles here. They're 11k up in this gold lead. Azir going to teleport, but he is low HP. This might be risky. I think they're just going to try to get the dragon, but Skarner's sticking around here. Sexy Beast might go for a possible Azir kill, which would be huge. Looks like he's going to go for it. He sees him. He's going to run in. He doesn't have the ultimate, though. All right, looks like they're going to have to go with this dragon. And I think Gladiator Gaming, a bit of a macro mistake there, guys. Trying to end the game early. Trying to flex a little bit too much.
Is he over the seal, though? He's going over, and he's going to not going to get the shield over. The Ezreal's going to come through. Not enough
okay.
to kill.
That's a bit. That slows down the game so much.
Yeah. He needed to stay up. But look,
there was no reason to go. There's no reason.
They're gonna push. They keep pushing them back. They can stop the back. Ori has teleport. She can ult on top. She can teleport into the base. Ash is the only remaining member, and
I don't think they knew they were there. I think they just wanted blue buff.
The most valuable, and then just give it to Ori.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's what you want. But honestly, Sexy Beast, I don't think there's any reason to go for that. Because now you're dead, and your team can't do anything. I guess they're going to pick up a few things here. And your team was already winning anyway. It's not like one dragon was going to change anything. Yeah, Baron coming up in 30 seconds, though. And
they have the time. That's the most important. They have another 2 Drakes to give up if need be. And look, Ezreal does so much damage against a tank. He literally just hits her with a single
Cho'Gath does too.
And pops the ultimate, hits 2 members, and that's all it says is done.
Oh, Ezreal just poking away here, doing massive damage. You are right about that. They cannot do anything about this Ezreal poke. And their only option is to engage, but they don't have any good engage
tools. He's forward. They can't do anything.
They don't have any good engage tools. Ashe ultimate is down, and Azir is practically the only person who can get this Ezreal in a bad spot, but he's not going for it right now.
Can't really do anything about it. They just need to wait to push this open. They have only 1 inhibitor. The ult's going to come forward, though. That's going to be the ult they need, but the 2-man ult's going to be on top of them. It's doing so much damage. The Chaos is on the field, but 2 members are always going to fall down towards North Kansas as they're pushed into the fountain. Sion's going to flash forward, and he's going to pop the hourglass. Too much damage, so many knocks. He's going to see his entire base crumble before his eyes before falling to Ezreal. He's going to try to finish off some kills as they're going to base camp and end the game.
Gladiator game. Yeah, Gladiator Gaming gonna take game 1 against North Kansas City High School here, and that was a commanding victory from them. They picked a good comp. North Kansas City High School did not pick a good counter comp to Gladiator Gaming, and they steamroll game number 1.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at the Ezreal damage. After that game, I mean, look, he was Eing forward into Sion, and Sion couldn't do a thing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to. Start. He's gonna have to change his name to No Fear Bormask. Think about a name change here.
I mean, dude, that game was ridiculous. We can see a 10-2 and 14 Ezreal with about 14,000 CS, more than anyone in the entire game. Meanwhile, look at his KP. He has 14 of the 29 kills of his team. I mean, he did better than anyone in the entire lobby.
Yeah,
Absolutely crushed it.
I mean, Elu Musician trying to put his best effort forward on the Azir did get a significantly close amount of damage to the Orianna, which is very surprising as how dominant it looked. But in the team fights, was able to use the tanks and positioning to do a lot of damage. But with this team so far behind, it wasn't enough to pull out the victory here. And honestly, that Ezreal poke was a real terrible thing, even for the tanks. Not able to take that damage from Ezreal, constantly putting out Qs, got the Lulu slow and got the Lulu buff as well. What a monster performance by Bormask here. And honestly, tip of the hat, to Lop as well, doing an excellent job on the Lulu.
No, yeah, for sure. I think the note is itemization coming out. As you would see, he's going for Divine Sunder with that poke Lulu build. He just clicks Q. You lose 10% of your HP as a tank. You're like, what do I do? Like, I built tank items, but they're meaningless. Like, Sion had 2 items, 2 completed items, full tank items that were giving him over 1,000 HP, and he was still taking so much damage from Ezreal. And meanwhile, Ashe didn't even get to her mythic. She only built Wit's End and didn't even get out damaged. She couldn't out damage anyone. The only person she did more damage was Cute Doggo on that jungle pick, and that's just not good enough.
Yep, not good enough. Didn't supply enough damage for her team. I think we're going to end it there for the post game analysis, and we're going to transition to the next game. But first, a little break as we get ready for the second game.
I'll do lead in. Okay, hello guys. We're gonna be back for game 2 of the pre-made Rampage Week 2 games, as we're going to see the Tom Kench first ban again coming out from North Kansas City High School, where
Yep.
a Viego is gonna be the response.
Yep, I think North Kansas City High School, they get blue side now. So we were talking about it a little bit before the stream started up again, that we're looking for a better draft this time around for North Kansas City. We don't think that the Brom or the Poppy pick were really good picks, especially into what Gladiator Gaming had, as they really didn't have any hard dive champions. So maybe a bit of a better adaptation in this draft.
Yep, and as we're gonna see, so far just the same bans coming out from both teams. I really don't like the Tom Kench ban coming out from blue side. I feel like you just force your opponents to ban it, and you get to ban something else. Like, what do you think about that?
It's true. I do think Tom Kench is a pretty good pick, especially right now. Pretty much unexpected lane phase winner if you don't know the matchups very well. And honestly, he has very good engage, especially from out of vision, as we're talking about with Cho'Gath, similar champion when it comes to out of vision engage as well. But however, it doesn't work with every single team comp, but I think he's a pretty strong top laning pick in general. And they have a Victor, so we have one adaptation from Gladiator Gaming. They wanted the Victor ban instead. And we also have Skarner ban in this game as well.
Yeah, so I feel like the most important change is going to be how can their team play their comp, and rather just kind of like the Poppy felt really ineffective, and I would rather see champions who can be used. Poppy's more of a response champion at the moment rather than a initiation. She's not strong enough to just be good on her own, as Leona, a very strong support pick.
Yep. North Kansas City High School, they didn't like how much lack of engage they had last game. They go with the Leona this game, definitely have enough engage now. And is Gladiator Gaming going to pick a Morgana in response? Now that's going to counter in the lane phase. However, Morgana is pretty much not that great in the middle of a team fight until she gets Zonias.
The thing to note though is, as a bot lane player myself, Morgana's cooldown for her spell shield is longer than Leona's base cooldowns of her combo. So if Leona just goes in, then walks away from a trade without getting heavily punished, she can just go in on CDR, and you need to play safe around that Morgana ability. And them seeing pick up an Ezreal, Leona, they don't really have to engage necessarily. They just can farm it out. Ezreal's going to outscale Ashe.
Well, if you're going to do that farming strategy in the bot lane, might as well pick a Chanter support instead of a more engaged tanky support like Leona. And that would also give you a winning lane into what GG has. I know they did pick it first. So I don't think the Ezreal Leona in terms of laning is the best combo. But in terms of catching in the mid game, getting the rotations before objectives come up, very strong, and Jarvan also plays into that as well.
Ooh, we're going to see an Urgot picked up. He does very well into team comps that dive him, just like Braum and Azir kind of do into team comps that dive him, but Urgot especially. Urgot has a very good champion when the enemy is on top of him. He gets those empowered auto attack blats, and he's just able to E4 it. Leona goes on him, he can cast his own E2, and they can just go after each other, and has the ability to snipe down Ezreal or any player if they're at low enough HP.
Yeah, getting the kill on the Leona as she goes in with that, the finisher there with the Urgot ultimate is going to be really good. As well as I agree with you, Urgot is actually really bad at engaging. His his grab is so telegraphed, it's so slow. Ezreal can E out of it any time. But if you're going into the Urgot, say Leona or Jarvan, well, that is a different story. And Urgot's going to probably be doing a lot of damage in the team fights in this game here, as we have Azir and Ornn thrown off the board. Orianna, we're not seeing those champions for this game here.
I mean, I really like the Ornn ban again. He does stop a lot of the engage, because if you have a Leona and an Ornn, they click R, your team goes in. It's simple as that, and unless you have a way to stop the Ornn horn, your team's going to knock off one way or another.
Yeah,
so I really like that ban.
Yeah, I mean, Morgana can only shield one person, and they are both very vulnerable to an Ornn pick here. So, Gladiator Gaming, very good pick there for a ban on the Ornn, and they're looking like they're going to pick Twisted Fate something that plays around prio a little bit here. So this would be something that I would consider maybe, unless Gladiator Gaming is pretty practiced on it, I don't recommend a Twisted Fate pick normally. What do you think about picking it and this game in particular?
I mean, it is one of Wafer's more picked champions. He's got about 30 ranked games played about it. He doesn't have a great win rate though. The thing to note, team games allow you to play Twisted Fate in a completely different
Yeah.
place than a
You know,
normal
you
game.
can tell your laners that you're gonna come ahead of time and they're gonna
Yeah,
hear you through their ears instead of through pings. So,
yeah,
well, the better communication is expected.
yeah, and I think they're just gonna pick the Shen to match that roam capability, but still, Shen's roaming is not as good as Twisted Fate's because Twisted Fate's ult has situations where you can just click R. You don't even have to fight your opponent. You don't even have to use the ability, just clicking R. But the scaling
Oh,
option of
Corky.
Corki, he's gonna be able to punish Twisted Fate when he roams, and that's what you
Yeah.
want to do if someone picks Twisted Fate.
So North Kansas City High School here looks like they have two very potent poke champions in the Ezreal and Corky, and then an engage to follow up afterwards. So that looks like that's going to be their game plan. As Gladiator Gaming is looking for more of a roam pick style, so they have Morgana Ash Twisted Fate. They want to catch champions by themselves, want to catch them before they get to objectives, and then kill them one by one, and then get the objective afterwards here. So it really depends on the setup here. If NKCHS get the setup, I think GG is going to be in a bad spot as Twisted Fate is not a great champion in the middle of a team fight compared to a Corki. However, if they don't get set up, GG catch them off guard, that's where they're going to find the win.
I mean, looking at this J4 Lulu lane, I mean, dude, Shen is a very strong roaming champion, and J4 is gonna have that specific ability to gank from weird angles because of how his spear works and casting his R. But Nunu just goes fast. And when you're a champion like Ezreal and you can just burn your E, cool. But if you're a champion like Leona, you really don't got the luxury to do that as much. You just kind of stuck there and you gotta have to take it. I mean, when Ashe and Morgana and Nunu are just running into your lane, unless you're burning flash, you are screwed. There is almost nothing your champion can do. Corki has a dash, Shen has a dash, Ezreal has a dash. Leon, on the other hand, is going to be slim pickings. She's more of a champion players like to put beginner supports on because she's really hard to die as long as she clicks W. But
Right.
I feel
And
like it can be
with the
really hard to
aftershock as
gain.
well. The aftershock just makes her really, really tanky. So of all the supports, she's probably the tankiest, and she can take a lot of damage before him. I'm interested of the Jarvan Nunu interaction. Can Nunu stun Jarvan through his wall if the snowball is big enough? Does
Yes,
anyone
because
know?
it's really weird interaction. So if you're curving Nunu snowballs and you curve them onto camps and stuff like that, you really won't hit all of the camps. But you'll hit most of the knockups on targets that you didn't even connect with. It has a very strange hitbox. Um, Especially it's really hard to navigate when it gets bigger, but it will be able to collide and knock up someone who's close to the outside of the wall. And with how close and small that cage is, they're most likely at least one target will be knocked up, depending on how many are inside. The question will it be J4? It depends on the angle.
Yeah, I do think that J4 has a lot of positives in this game, but also a lot of negatives here. So if Jarvan gets his engage on the Morgana Ash, unless they have flash, they're pretty much stuck in his ultimate. But on the other hand, Jarvan's going to be engaging into stuff like an Urgot. And, Jarvan is not the champion he was before. In this current meta, he's not very tanky. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He drops off like a rock here in the mid game. So really has to get the early advantage. And I don't see Jarvan running into an Urgot playing out very well. So it's going to be really dependent on how you play this Jarvan here.
Yeah, I mean Jarvan is a champion who drops off like a rocket, you said, but the thing to note though is Jarvan does about the same thing no matter what amount of gold he does. He does the
That's
same
true.
thing. He clicks C, he
He's the
clicks
same
Q,
champion.
he clicks R. I mean, he has an item, he has two, he has three. It's about the same story, but champions like Ashe and Morgana are gonna shred through him and prevent him from really doing a lot of what he needs to do for his team because Shen is basically forced to ult on top of Leona or J4 to initiate fights. So
That's
I
if
just
they
think,
want to go for that. I do think that if their Ezreal and Corki are getting engaged on and they're dying, something has already went wrong.
yeah, I 100% agree. But I feel like the most controversial pick of this entire draft is the Twisted Fate because he is a roaming champion who needs to get picks to make himself a viable champion for his team for a pick compared to other mid laner mages. But Corki does farms and scales just like Ezreal, and eventually they can wait it out long enough till he's just sending in 400-500 damage R's, and your team gets poked away from an objective.
Yeah, I do think that is quite the possibility here. Twisted Fate is not an easy champion to play. If I mean, on top of the card mechanics, you have to have good map awareness and good macro mechanics, macro knowledge as well. So you have to watch the side lanes, see if someone's out of position, coordinate with your team. Now they have tools. Gladiator Gaming have tools to play with the Twisted Fate, right? Imagine an Ashe ult into a Twisted Fate ultimate. That'd be a really good combo. Morgana Q and a Twisted Fate stun. That'd be a really good combo as well. So they have tools to play with it. So I see the concept of the draft. It's about the execution. If this Twist of Fate falls behind, you are totally correct. He's going to do absolutely nothing in team fight. He's going to be a squishy little guy that just throws cards, maybe gives you a little paper cut, but nothing much.
I mean, yeah, that's the most important thing to realize is he needs to be getting ganks and setup for his team. The thing with Ezreal is you can't dodge an auto attack. You click E, you click flash, no matter how far you run, that gold card will follow you to the edges of the earth, and that can allow for incredibly talented setup from the Morgana or Urgot to just hit those abilities that they desperately need because Corki and Ezreal, they're the damage. And if those champions are gone, the fight's already
Mhm.
over.
So on the flip side here for Born Mask on this Ashe, if they don't get the engage onto Born Mask here because of her slow, it I don't really see them being able to get out of the scenario very easily or without, at least they have to take a lot of damage on the way out because they basically have to walk their way out. And even Shen as well, if he uses his dash to get in, well, he's gonna have to walk out. And that's a lot of damage on the way out if they don't get what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, Ash is in a really good spot right now. She's about a 52, 53% win rate in solo queue, going for an attack speed oriented build where she can go for Shield Bow, Kraken Slayer. I mean, she has so much options and she just becomes this turret that just sits down and auto attacks you to death. And how her
Right.
Q works with Runa's Hurricane and a lot of other increased attack speed items just allow her to get incredibly slow. Like Leona, after she uses her kit, if she can't get onto Ash, is just going to be sitting there and won't be able to move because of how much slow and CC are coming out from the red team.
Yeah, and one final point to wrap this up here. I think the Morgana pick works excellently. What they're going for helps the immobile Ash here, helps the Twisted Fate for engages. They got pretty good juicy front line with the Urga and the Nunu, so that's going to provide a lot of protection for the backliners here. But with that, we're going to have a very small break before we jump right into game two for the pre-made Rampage Week 2 games. This is Gladiator Gaming versus North Kansas City High School. We're going to catch you right after the break.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are on to the Rift for Game 2, seeing a level 1 cheese coming out from the Gladiator is going to look into a bot-sized pick onto Leona or Ezreal. I mean, this could be an instant force of the Flash.
Ooh, Leona might be in danger here. And honestly, with a Morgana
Oh, they
Ashe,
see it.
that
They
ain't
see it.
easy to get away. The slow's going to hit Leona here, and they got a snare that she's going to flash out of. The gold card was ready, and I don't think that North Kansas City is going to get anything else. Nope. They just get one ward. They could have invaded on the top side there. You knew that they had all members on the bot side. You could have got a little more than just one ward. You could have taken over that top side jungle there and maybe even pick up an Urgot kill here as well. That could have been a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Summoner's Choice and Rune Pill, we're going to see a Cleanse Ezreal make sense into Ashe Morgana. You need to be able to stop the Ashe ult or the Morgana CC if needed. But that's a Summoner spellbook to TF. He's going to be trying to get as many uses of Summoners as he can throughout this game because if he cannot be a utility champ, he's going to be effective.
All right, so they have a little trap set up here. And if Leona gets caught, there is no way for High there to get out as he burnt the flash earlier. Scared Feels is going to face check first. I don't think they know that they're running right into danger.
And I think the note, though, is autoing the ADC here. As look, cool, you're not the target. Oh, he's going to go forward. Will he get the kill, though? Oh, that's a cost, but poor Matt's too greedy. He's going to end up falling. That's going to be first blood for Ezreal, seeing it again. As meanwhile, the mid game's coming up to so much CC. They need to burn the flash instantly, getting himself out there. But look at this top lane matchup. That PTA allows to push Shen away, in addition to having range. Unless Shen has the auto attack canceller, he cannot win that matchup early.
Yeah, there's no way for Shen to win that early, so he's going to have to give up the prio entirely over to the Dunga here. And man, Bormask and Lop, you were in a perfect position. You had the flash advantage, and you kind of threw it away. You threw for a attempt at first blood, and it didn't even go your way.
Yep, I think honestly, if they just got the couple auto attacks, they need to know that the opponent's better on red and go away. Oh, the flash, that was so good, but he flashed on the wrong side. He needed the flash towards his turret, not away. And that's going to be a TP coming out from Urgot. They want to stop this. They need to be able to turn this around, but Urgot's just kind of showing up for not enough of an effectiveness, to be honest. A little too hasty.
Yeah, a little too hasty. They're going to sacrifice a little bit on the top side. Waste of a teleport, in my opinion, but isn't going to lose that much CS as we have Nunu clearing the top side now. A lot of action starting early, bit of whiplash there on the camera, and Lop might be finding himself in a terrible situation. No, it's High there who's in a bad situation, but I guess they didn't know that the Ezreal back yet. That was close danger, but no one knew it.
Yep, and currently looking at the wave situation of the bot side, definitely favoring the Ashe if she can set up a freeze. Ezreal wants to be in this position regardless to get those Qs, but he's going to lose some minions for this. And looking at that Sheen, it's going to allow him to poke even better.
They still have the flash advantage, and I think that Sexy B should make his way to bot side. Maybe back after clearing top side backs, go straight to bottom. They don't have the flash on the Leona still. That is a free kill, if you ask me. And Nunu knock up into the Morgana Q. We have a Hex Flash being channeled here. Q Doggo Noise is going in. Doesn't get the knock up onto Dididunga. And it looks like that's going to be a nothing burger. As we have High there and Lop positioning for aggressive engage on each other. Something might be starting here on the bot side. I do think they should wait. Both sides should wait for the jungler, though.
Yep, I mean, looking at the position of Ashe, he's able to hit as many minions as he can with it.
Oh,
He's going to get
round
his
two.
The sun's coming up on top of it, though. He's going to use his E to get away, burning that flash and that slow movement speed. It's going to force him to get away, but that repeat game, forcing no summoners top.
Yeah, definitely could have been the kill there, but wasn't executed on perfectly. A bit disjointed there of engage. Didn't get the CCs just right. As we have a bottom scuttle being taken here by Nunu. And yeah, it looks like they're just going to keep positioning aggressively. Almost gets the snare there. Scary Feels barely avoids danger and even a late phase shift there at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing to note about this bot lane setup is the fact that Ezreal can't outpush Ashe. He simply can't. If Ashe,
I mean, he doesn't have any AoE, and Ashe does. So that tells you what you need to know.
And the way you win this matchup is you position yourself as Ashe to just shove as many minions and waves under the tower, because Ezreal really struggles on the tower. He really does. Oh,
yeah.
Like, he's forced to use E with the Morgana there. Look, just High is just taking it so poorly in this lane that he's gonna have to back or try to go for a tower dive kill.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about with the engage into the Enchanter matchup on laning. The Enchanter basically always wins, unless you mess up and get engaged on. It's a win every time. I believe a flash was blown there. Didn't get to see what happened with it.
Yeah, and looks like we're gonna see a potential chance for the mid lane, as Nunu is gonna look to start Dragon or clear off the wards. We're gonna pick up the Cannon minion and can't really freeze this mid.
Yeah, they don't have any teleports though either. However, North City High School does. Sorry, North City, Kansas High School has the teleport, but it looks like they have no idea this dragon's going down, as Bormas is making an aggressive play on Scary Fields here. Alright, sorry,
Yep.
North Kansas City. I keep saying you guys' name wrong. North Kansas City High School do have the teleport advantage, but I don't think they are using it just yet.
Yep, and this is the situation. They need J4 to force this Ashe to burn summoner spells, because with her current position, she's just costing CS and resources on the side of Ezreal. Ezreal is just slowly losing in CS, mostly because Boar is playing this matchup a lot better than what we saw last game.
Well, the thing is, High there cannot provide poke support with the Leona. High there can only commit to an engage. And however, Lop can also help in the poke department there. So it's two pokers versus one. Who's going to win?
I mean, mostly two. The thing to know about Ezreal is he can play this lane pretty easily if he just positions himself outside of turret range and poke. It's about lane manipulation, and currently Master is definitely taking advantage of it.
As you said, Ashe definitely has the control there. As we have Didunga controlling the top side currently, but is a huge, I'm going to attribute this to his teleport here. Massive 30 CS deficit here. Unsafe Cornet taking a very good early lead on the top side there.
Yeah, but look at this Ashe. He just clicks W and the entire wave just takes damage. And eventually it's going to add up.
I would like to see them freeze and have a Nunu gank bottom. That would probably be the ultimate win for them.
I think that wave is just too big to freeze.
Yeah,
Like,
well, they didn't thin it out enough on the way in. As we have an invade here, Sexy Beast going to catch Q Duggan, who's doing Grump. Isn't going to be able to steal it away. We have the TF coming in support. But the Corki is not far behind, as we have both members trying to leave the jungle there into the river. Looks like they were trying to contest the blue buff. Is it going to go over?
I don't
Three
know.
members down into the blue buff area. They're going in.
So we're going to see the fight going down, but meanwhile, they're going to chase for on the blue, but that's going to be given up.
Yeah, so we were just looking at the map there, guys. So if you weren't paying attention there, we were just looking at the map. That was the more important scenario to catch. However, the auto cam thought bot lane was a little more important.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to note about bot lane is it just comes down to if Morgana can hit a spell binding, forcing Ezreal's cleanse, because as soon as Ashe hits 6, she needs Morgana to burn the summoner first, so that before she follows up with her own ultimate.
You could try to also get it with the Morgana ultimate as well.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, they have plenty of CC to bait this cleanse. It depends on how they execute coordinatedly with their CC available to them. I mean, maybe even TF comes down. TF has not roamed on levels. He got level 6, didn't use the ultimate yet to get a clear advantage. Did roam though, but didn't use the ultimate to get ahead and commit to an engage.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard with the lane positioning from his bot lane. They aren't.
Everyone's pushing in.
Everyone's
See, but
pushing
you could try to dive right now, but they're
Nunu's
not coordinating.
not there.
They're not coordinating with Nunu at all. See, they could also dive top as well, but Nunu's not in position. So they're not coordinating well with their team comp here to play the TF strengths. They're basically letting that fall away. They're just going to farm it up, and that's not what you want on a TF.
And currently going to see Corki and J4 roam bot side, really trying to just put this pressure onto Ashe Morgana, because they're slowly picking up a CS lead just by existing in this lane.
Yeah, I do think they need to grow the CS and gold lead. They had multiple dive scenarios here.
Oh, TF showing up though. Does he have the gold cards? Can hit the stun. No, that's going to be the ultimate. Will it succeed though? And that's going to be the fear beyond death for Galaxy in this top lane, as he's going to push in the lane and try to bounce back that CS deficit.
I mean, they finally get it done, but there was an absolutely immaculate top wave that Dodunga had set up. That was probably 2.5 waves of minions that they could have denied there. But I'll take that. I'll take what I can get.
Oh, he's going to 4 up. That's going to be the flash from Bormass. So well done. He's able to keep himself out, but he's going to be stuck inside because of the Ezreal and the J4. But he's almost out, though. He's stuck in the ability to look at the TP's coming up from both sides, and Morgana's going to see her own list. Shen pops his own. Everyone's there. It's so much damage. It's so much everything. Everyone's popping or everyone's picking their keys. As we can see, Urgot's turning around as TF's going to pick up the kill onto the ADC, as that's going to be Shen stuck on his lonesome as TF runs down the J4, and they push him there, body blocking him from the tower, and they're securing themselves more kills as they look to tower dive on top of him. And yet that's going to be a solo kill for the J4, and sorry, I mean the Tisbit Fate. And look, they're just pushing in this wave bot side, getting some plating as well.
Yeah, it looks like they did mount an excellent counterpunch there, but Illu Musician, where were you? That Corki package is way too late there. Could have been used a lot earlier. I know you weren't set up for it, but man, that really hurt your team.
Yeah, for sure. And I will like to say, though, is looking at the itemization and the rune choice, I mean, he had the Ghost. Wafer just was able to run down the jungler with the Ghost. Now is up to the exhaust on the Summoner Spellbook. Has a lot of potential there. As he's going to pop the package, and he hit something. Oh, he's able to fly.
That was a meaty Q, wasn't it? No, that was absolutely meaty Q.
Ashe is going to be punished here, though. She doesn't have any way to get out. She's just trying to auto-attack Ezreal with the trade, but she's going to suck as they... Oh! She's not able to get away. Ezreal's just really missing his kills.
Yep, Scary Field's going to pick up the kill there. Now, it's very smart to have your other laners cover your lane to make sure you don't miss any CS, but giving over a kill by overextending is not what you want to do. So, great, not so great execution, but the thought was there.
Yeah, for sure. Look at the jungle CS gap, though, coming out from J4. This is the fact that J4 just loses pressure. And Urgot's just going to exist here. He's looking to force out the smite, going to just sit there on top of them as Nunu's showing up. It goes immediately onto Cute Doggo with the J4 stuck here. He's going to pop the ult to force him away. Going to mistime that as the ult comes out. The Fear Beyond Death is going to miss. Ezreal shows up as they're trying to bounce back from this play as Luke is actually there. He's going to hit Ezreal from over the wall, and his play is going to slow down as both teams go back to clearing.
Oh, Riptail getting plopped down here. 4 members committed to get this mid turret, and this is before 14 minutes, so they're going to get all the plates as well, and they might not even lose that much on the side lanes. They probably have to run over there immediately. Looks like they're going to choose to sacrifice minions to get a dragon instead. I don't know if that's super worth it, but they're gonna get advantages anyway.
Look, you can see Bormass just hiding the line, doing as many autos as he can onto Hitter, and she's just not feeling Leona's just feeling bad.
I think he's trying to play Ezreal on Ashe, is what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to be fearless beyond death, literally, on Ashe. Just doesn't even care if the Leona runs up. She had ult there. She could have forced that.
I'm telling you, change your name to No Fear. As we have unsafe Cornet, I believe he was able to get a turret plate. He did get one, and he pushing a free wave there. Urgot, though, with the stun of Ashe, is going to get this grab onto Shen here. Unsafe Cornet in an unsafe position. Lop is here to just shows pretty face to Shen as he dies, but the kill going over to the Ashe, I believe.
Yeah, Bormass picking up some kills. That's his first kill of the game, actually, now being 1-3-2. Going to be building
a silver platter.
Yep, handed to him on a silver platter by his teammates, but he is going to be the late damage carry for his team just because of how much damage he does. And we're going to see another potential engage from bot side.
All right, so we have a gold lead here for Gladiator Gaming, but the question is this enough of a gold lead? They do have a good pressure advantage with multiple turrets, with the mid lane turret going down. But I think the clock is ticking. They need to start making more plays here.
Yes, it looks like there's the flash forward that's coming down as the spell shield is going to do everything it needs to, but that's just too late as the Shen is a little too much.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much committed.
Here's
the thing, though. Morgana's spell shield protects Ashe from a lot of things, but not a Jarvan ultimate. Wasn't able to get over the wall. Can't spell shield walk through that wall, and that was a pretty free kill for North Kansas City.
Yeah, and the fact that you're just not playing a champion with a dash is we're going to see Waver and Cute Doggo following up. Is trying to sidestep it. He's going to get the stun, though. His teammates are just too far away as the musician is trying to follow up. going to hit it.
They're going to hand over the
End
kill
up
to
falling.
Corki there. So Elam position picking up a kill. And Wafer kind of been playing a little bit too much with fire there. Didn't have any prio or pressure in the mid lane. So, and pushing up so far on the bot side by himself, trying to play the side lane, but playing it a little too dangerously.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to see Corki chip away at the spot lane tower and potentially threaten a tank. And the fact that he has this EQ does so much damage to the wave. And we're going to see a potential steal. Ooh, they're going to slow it down. Udaga wants to smite fight this, but he's going to secure it as Nunu's going to run him down. The Astral's going to miss. He can't get over the wall, though. He's going to knock out both. He's going to get himself some distance, though, as Corki's on the backside. He's going to use that.
TF has ultimate.
Oh. There's no Shenel. You burned it too early. The ult coming down. That's going to be the ghost pop. Doggo's trying to get himself away, but the CC coming down as Ash is showing up, takes the Ezreal to the face, but we're going to transition as we can see Corki caught in a bad position. He took the turret, but it's going to cost him his life. The auto attacks come down. Luke is still alive, and she's going to secure the kill. Fortunately, should have been given to one of the teammates, but it does not matter nonetheless.
Gladiator Gaming had a multitude of wards capturing that whole scenario. So they knew that they were going to go for that play well ahead of time. North Kansas City had no idea that they were collapsing in, pull off a wonderful collapse with the TF ultimate there. They get 2 kills on the side. TF's going to get to push in a wave for free, get some turret damage, and they're going to transition the rest of the pressure onto this Rift Herald here.
Yep, and that's the thing. First Rift Herald, pretty impactful. Second one, not as much, but with no objectives on the map, you're not really losing out too much. Currently, only 1 turret is down for each team, and
yeah, they're going to catch all the waves anyway, so they're not going to lose anything. Yeah, I mean, they did get 2 kills, so it would be hard to lose this a lot when you get 2 kills like that.
Currently seeing TF push bot again. The thing to know about TF is his passive is so incredibly useful.
Ooh,
if he just goes even.
Oh, that was a little early.
The wave wasn't pushed in enough. You're going to force him away.
Unsafecom going to get hit by a massive snowball, but isn't going to lead to anything. Rift Herald does take the turret down, and that was a potential kill there. They could have dove the Shen. However, Sexy Beast is not a patient animal and wasn't able to wait enough for Didunga to push in the wave. So Unsafe Cornet gets out of that scenario when he really should have been dead.
Yeah, I think the thing is they actually have to go for that play. They have 2 dragons. I think he's trying to say, I need a bat to get in situation and position for this dragon. But instead, if you take out Shen, his ultimate is going to be so useful in this team fight. Meanwhile, we're going to see Waver go topside, split pushing on the champion.
Yep,
We've seen it done before. As Bormask is going to be enforcing the flash already too early. That's just going to see everyone jump on top of him. He's trying to position himself. He's going to end up falling, but Shen is showing up. Doggo's going to fall in the middle as Luke is going to get that ultimate as Musician's on the backside. Luke is here. Sexy Beast is on top of them. That's going to be the flashes forward as Musician is just seed down to death. Currently, Ezreal Leona trying to fall up. Cornet is just on the backside, trying to get away. He's going to use the flash to get out, but they're going to say, ping, we need to get this objective. We have TPs. We can go for it, but Loop is so low. A single Ezreal Q will cost him his life.
That was a very, very dicey situation from Gladiator Gaming. North Kansas City almost was in a winning scenario there. If only their teammates were closer to that fight, they would have had a perfect collapse and possibly picked up this dragon and had a gold lead at the end of it. Unfortunately, their teammates weren't able to get there in time, and they just lose the fight. And
yes, the thing to note about a 3-dragon advantage when you have a TF and an Ashe is, yes, you don't scale as well, but instead you can just be like, we'll sacrifice this objective and go split top. We go split bot when you try to go for Baron. We have so much objective advantage and pressure on the map that we can just go and not force a fight. 5v5 fights are more unfavorable for North Kansas. They have a better situation with that J4 ult, with that Corki package and Ezreal R. Just all this setup, I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, you could see Bormask already having quite the trouble with the Jarvan. Burnt the flash way too early there, didn't trust Lop to send the shield in time, and didn't have the flash to get out of the J4 ultimate. The Cataclysm pretty much kept Ashe stuck in there and led to Bormask's doom.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think the thing to note, though, is the fact that Bormask flashed the 1cc, though he had Spell Shield, and then he got stuck inside the J4 ult. He had nowhere to go.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, burnt it way too early. Just trust.
Ooh, the Astral comes out. He's going to cleanse, though, but he's CC'd again. He can't get away. He's just stuck underneath as Morgana's going to keep her own ultimate there. She's stuck under turret. But we're going to see the Fear Beyond Death that's going to hit on top of the match. He's going to fall down to J4. He's going to pop his own ultimate as Leona's going to pop her ultimate too. They're trying to get onto Luke though. He's trying to get himself away. He's so low. He's got about 100 HP. She's going to pop the flash. But she's going to end up falling. Fear Beyond Death is not available. Not
Just a fight too far. Probably could have used a few extra members to pick up those kills there, but they're not going to lose that much. Maybe in mid turret. Maybe Wafer's in a dangerous position here. But something to note is that the cleanse tenacity really saving Scary feels there as the CC lands right after his initial cleanse, and that extra tenacity really reducing the snare timing from Morgana's bind. Looks like we're going to have our members move on to the map. They're going to be getting the farm, getting their buffs slowly here. Don't think anyone's going to be going for Baron at the moment. Oh, accidentally pops the blast cone. Prefer to keep those if they're on your side, if you ask me. Dragon up in 2 minutes. Both teams probably going to be looking for it. However, if you're Gladiator Gaming, probably want to make a play a little bit before the Dragon, maybe 30 seconds. Try to catch some team members out. Looks like they're setting up a vision advantage, and I don't think North Kansas City is responding to this vision just yet.
Yeah, what do you think?
They actually have vision on the other side. They have vision on Baron.
I feel like North Kansas does take Baron pretty well, but Ashe is definitely one of the fastest Baron taking 80 carries in the game just because she's auto attack base, has so much attack speed.
Ezreal not so much.
Not so much. But again, Porky pretty fat on those Sheen procs from his R and on his Q, along with E shredding armor. But what do you think North Kansas has to do to get this Dragon to prevent a solo?
I mean, they just have to make sure that they get the vision beforehand, so they're not even contesting the vision at this moment. And they have to make sure that they get their pryos and then roam down and stay as a 5-man. As you can see already, Cute Doggo Noises on the Jarvan, even though he's, 1, 3, and 7, has enough damage in CC to ensure a kill on Bormask. If you can get a kill on Bormask or Wafer, that is a lot of damage that is out from the side of Gladiator Gaming. So they're going to need to make sure to set up the vision, get the flanks, get the 5v5 team fight, instead of waiting for, Dragon to come up and then just all run there, face check in the bushes, get CC, get cut off. Don't let this TF get pressure either. Got to make sure Shen's following it. Right now, Shen's on the wrong side, and he's in a dangerous situation.
No, Galaxy has to wait. Galaxy, just wait for your team. They're going to see him. They're going for it. The Ashe Garrett's going to hit onto Leona. Dome. That's going to be a perfect ult. The CC follow-up. They're not going to be able to move as the ult pops up to be on Death. Going to kill, making this next Dragon fight not going to be a 4v5, but they can potentially force Baron as TF is pushed in waves bot.
They're going to go for a Baron force right here. Look, if your team has vision on the other side, don't play on the side without vision. Unsafe Cornet kind of baited his support there, as we have a lot of damage coming down. There's Baron Urgot doing lots of damage, Ashe doing lots of damage. The other members are coming in here.
Oh, they're going for on top of the J4, taking a ton of damage, but Ashe is on the backside. Corky's going to use the package to put them on both, but Ashe is just taking a ton of damage from both of them, using the flash and the blast cone to get back on top of them. But look at Ezreal. He's 1v1ing the enemy top laner, and he's going to win.
I think Ezreal was 3v1ing there, actually.
Yeah, champion busted. Changed my mind.
That was a bit of a risky Baron. They should have peeled off a little earlier because that Baron damage really affected that last team fight there. I think that was an excellently played opportunity by North Kansas City. And it looks like they're going to pick up the Dragon there. So the Dragon stack's going to stop one stack ahead of time. They're not going to get the Elder as early as they expected. And that was a bit of a blunder from the side of Gladiator Gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I really thought that they should not have forced Baron there. I think they should have potentially set up a push, can't force their opponents to show up for Baron and potentially just get a pick, because what you really need to be doing is playing for picks around that Dragon spawn timer.
You have the comp for pick, not for Baron take.
Yeah. You have comp for Baron tank if no one's there. You can't just fight inside pick. You don't have the damage to focus both targets. And potentially that could have been couldn't see a turnaround coming, but Ashe instantly ulted on top, does not have the flash at all, but she's going to take the Ashe ult. She's going to use her heal, but here comes Galaxy. They're slowing down, though. That's going to be exactly what they need. The Fear Beyond Death is going to secure the kill as Cute Doggo Noises just watches as the team leaves them behind.
Yeah, definitely didn't have enough support there. I mean, the Ezreal ult was nice and it was close, but the team wasn't close enough, and Bormask was. They're baiting it again. I don't think they have to do it. There's no blues. They don't have any vision. They don't even know.
So the thing to note, though, is Shen's TPing in. They're trying to go for this. They're getting a little too close. You need to go on top of Hither. Do not let him land a full man ultimate as Corki is getting some serious damage. They're going to take out Mask almost instantly. He's going to fall down, but the new ult is going to be too much. Slowing down, doing so much damage. It looks like Ezreal is doing everything he needs for his team, and that's just going to see another terrible Baron take result in 4 members of Gladiators falling down. And they get the Baron, but at what cost?
I mean, they didn't have to start the Baron. You know, bait out the blue trinket, then clear the blue trinket, and then use your vision advantage to, you know, clear all the surrounding area, of course. Then use your vision advantage to get a pick. Do not need to be doing the Baron right now. Especially, I mean, you need to eliminate more members if you want to go for that play. But it does look like they have it on 1 member here. They might lose it just right now. Oh, beautiful taunt flash to get the last Baron off the board. And Wafer playing a little too dangerously, and honestly, for no reason, could have just safely played behind the turret.
Got hit by that we saw on the minimap. That's unfortunate.
All right, Gladiator Gaming, 2 blunders in a row. You're not out of this game yet, but it's definitely going to make it a lot. It's going to be a lot tougher now. Now that Baron's off the board, you have to turn your sight towards Dragon here. So maybe they can do a repeat of what they've done before. Get the vision advantage, get the pick. That's what we're looking for here. Again, North Kansas City, they're doing a pretty good job of just engaging when they're taking a lot of Baron damage. Won't be the case with Dragon, though. Does a lot less damage, so they're going to have to play a little bit safer.
Yeah, for sure. And Dragon being Ocean's going to provide slowing. That's the thing to note, though, is it slows your opponent. So if J4, Leona, Urgot, or even Nunu are getting slowed by that ability, it's going to prevent them from engaging when they need to.
Yeah, it looks like both teams here starting to identify what the next objective is, laying down the vision. Going to be a bit of a vision war happening in this brush on the red, what is it? Red lizard. Did they change it? It's not a lizard anymore, huh?
You mean raptors?
No, oh, the raptor bush, yeah. What's red buff now? Is it a lizard still? This is just a side conversation while this is happening. Is it a lizard? It used to be a lizard.
It's
Maybe
not
someone
a
in chat can say.
No, it is not a lizard. The red buff is not a lizard. There is no lizard camp. The closest thing would be Gromp, and even then, it's more like this weird-looking golem form thing.
Why do they keep changing the creatures that they are?
Okay, Boomer, you play League of Legends during Season 1.
Yeah, whatever. Is that all you got? I'm older than you?
Yeah, that's about it. That's not that much to fight over in this case. Back in my day, Cassidy was super broken.
Hold up, he's still broken. Okay, he's still broken.
I mean, dude, this game is going to literally come down to, I feel like, TF split pushing. Because it feels like that's the only pressure that's happening on the map outside of this. Oh! Dragon's up in 50 seconds. Are they gonna
this
set
is
up
an objective.
free vision?
It looks like they're going to set up now. They're going to need to make a pick. They're going for the Leona pick.
They hit the force flash. CF is here, though. She hits on top, but it's going to be the Sun. They're trying to continue to follow this up, though, but that's going to be the Sun on top, as we can see. J4, that's a flash.
Oh,
that's a Leona flash.
That's
such a useful ability. That's way too useful. You don't understand. That's so pivotal. She needs to be able to flash R, flash E. She cannot gap close without that Summoner spell, and with the current situation, they can look to bush camp.
Corki has the package.
That's going to be the Sun, though. He's going to be stuck up, but he's going to burn the Nunu ult. That's what they need.
Alright, the Black Shield is down. Corki ult can do lots of damage. If they get a pick right now, it's going to be very bad for GG here.
Leona walks a little too forward. This is about the poke comp. Looks like TF is pushing out mid. He needs to match the Shen.
This situation is on a knife's edge. Oh, they give it up. They don't want to fight for it. They want pressure. I think that's actually the smart play from Gladiators there. You want to make sure you have pressure to force the enemy team into a bad position here. Instead, they realize that they don't have the right prio on the top side. Shen pushing in the minions into the turret was not the scenario that they wanted to engage on. And to be honest, I think that is a good decision from GG there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, gold does not matter as much. The difference is so small that it's not enough to make a difference in any of these fights. So it's about the control of the map, the objectives, the turrets, and with currently a pretty close Baron, like Baron was something that gets them into this game beforehand, but the fact that they lost the buff was just not enough. I mean, look, the next dragon is going to be very important. every dragon from here on out potentially can be soul for Gladiators, but if they can delay it until we see North Kansas get it, the game ends. I feel like if North Kansas gets that soul, the game's over.
Imagine if North Kansas gets 4 Ocean Drakes. Just think about how tanky that Shen's going to be and Leona in the front line. It's going to be
Awful.
insane. Yeah. And Ashe does damage, but she's not an amazing tank killer like some of the other AD carries, more of a utility based. And they're starting to lose a bit on the damage department because Urgot does damage, but TF, as you can see there, isn't really able to take out the Leona, even 1v1.
I mean, she does have the Aftershock, though. She does have the Flash getting burned. She did way more than TF even needed to, and she barely got out. And also the fact, though, is his teammates just weren't able to follow up due to distance. Even if he had the damage, he can't run it down. J4 was right there. He had to stop.
Yeah, he was running into no vision, but TF is not a damage powerhouse like other mid laners. And so far, this Corki 7-2 and 5, proving that Elu Musician can output the damage if necessary, as well as Scary Fields on this Ezreal. Seems like this pick is really good for both teams.
I think we're going to see, if we do see a potential game 3, it's going to be banned. They're going to have to someone's going to have to force a picker ban. Most likely.
It's probably picker ban. I agree.
Currently with the game situation, if Gladiators win, the series does end. But if North Kansas can get the victory here, they're going to have to ban Ezreal because there's no way, unless they have a pick that can deny it, some way to stop this champion because it is making havoc in the series.
All right, Baron's up and North Kansas City has the vision advantage. It's dwindling away right now, but that could have been a baited fight. I don't think if Gladiator Gaming was aware, but that could have been a 4v2 situation in the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I mean, currently seeing both teams playing around this Baron setup, but it comes down to, can Scary Fields do damage? He
gets
has
the poke
a lot.
And gets away.
3 items. Look at 3 items on that Ashe. She's really at her key point, doing a lot of damage, not even level 16.
Yeah. Ezreal also at a pretty good point with his build. He's got a lot of armor pen. He's got the Conqueror with extra proc damage as well as a fully completed tier item. So he's going to be, and as you can see, pretty much half healthing Lop in 2 spells there. So it looks like Ezreal is primed and ready for damage as well as the Corki.
I mean, if I was currently Ashe or the red team at the moment, you need to be stop pushing and start freezing because Ezreal is going to counter every push you have at this stage in the game, and you just need to be freezing and forcing him to walk up and just make him feel threatened or force him off CS.
I mean, it's really on Wafer to make something happen on the side lanes right now. Wafer, it's on your shoulders here to get something happening in the side lane. Maybe make Corki push up too early or help your team set up a dive. They really need to get pressure to get a vision advantage here, but it looks like they're losing pressure everywhere Ezreal goes or Corki goes. So not a good sign, but they need to start getting pressure, maybe coordinating a gank on the bot side.
Yeah, for sure, as we're going to see them just push in mid lane after mid lane after mid lane, and level 17, almost 18 mid laners are going to be at the peak of their power. Currently 1 item away from seeing a full build Corki.
This is not the scenario that you want if you're Gladiator Gaming. You need to be pushing the envelope, need to be making a lot of pressure plays, get a lot of mini skirmishes going. And right now, it's Scaleville. Nothing has really happened for the past, 4 or 5 minutes. We even had a conversation about me being a boomer, and still nothing's happened.
I mean, we've barely seen anyone die. Waves of the flash comes out forward immediately onto both of them. He's going to flash away as Ezreal pops his own ult, as they're going to be turning this in a dime. As he goes on, as Corki's on the backside of the package, he's going to take a significant amount of damage. We're going to see the shield, the Corki trying to do everything. He's going to fall 1 for 1 for the junglers as Ezreal goes forward, doing a lot of damage, getting what they need. As it looks like they're going to force this onto a 3rd dragon. That's going to be everybody. Only the top and solo laners are left. That's just the power of that flash forward.
I think they dedicate 1 member to Dragon, the rest go to Baron here. And it looks like they're all good commit to Dragon, but for a fast Baron switcheroo.
I
mean, Shen could solo Baron. Or solo Dragon, no problem.
What are they doing?
Looks like they're trying to set up another fight here. And that's what, and now that you see that North Kansas City has control, they can get the 5v5 setup, The team fights are easily in their favor there. Now, I do think that Shen should have ultied for Elu Musician on the Corki one package when he went deep. I think that would have been a better combo, as High there is getting caught by this Urgot. He's got the Black Shield. He's not scared of any CC, but definitely won't be able to Black Shield the damage coming out from the rest of the team. And they're going to have to hold off on the Baron for now. But yeah, I do think Shen should have committed the ultimate onto the Corki Elu Musician there, unsafe Cornet. Possible synergy that was missing in that last fight.
Yeah, I really want to see a bush camp coming out from Gladiators as their only way to win this next team fight. If they do not get a bush camp to get numbers advantage, we're going to see North Kansas push us to a game 3 uncontested. They have a much better scaling team comp. We talked about this in the draft. We were seeing it right in before our eyes. The gold counts are so even. The objective is so even. Next thing is Soul. Whoever gets Soul has a potential to push this game. And even if North Kansas loses Soul, they're still in it. They still have this incredible wave clear and potentially getting Baron to match the absolute fighting power of this Nunu and Urgot.
I mean, their comp is basically scaled into the lead. I know the gold is even, but honestly, I'd put the strength in their camp right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. As we're going to see the Ezreal eating away. They're really looking to get something onto him. He's level 16 as the gold card's going to come out. And bot lane is just seeing another push. Wave after wave crashing. Thing after thing happening, and nothing is really developing for either team.
I'd like to see a gank on bottom on this Corki. Basically has been unafraid against Wafer this whole time. In fact, it's been going the opposite way. They're ganking Wafer instead. I think they should commit some members down there, get this Corki out, and get some side lane pressure going. Because otherwise, everyone's just farming right now. And that's not what Gladiator Gaming needs.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what happens for North Kansas, and they want this. They want this to be the state. I mean, look how much damage that does from one auto in a Q coming out from Corki, just half health TF. And without flash up, he is in a vulnerable situation. He is playing for his ult. He needs to be getting picks around these team fights. So they need to be playing for this Baron. TF needs to roam up, clear vision. They just need to force this 1v3, 1v4 position and get a pick. That's all they need. Wafer cannot really get anything. Even if he stuns Corki, cannot burst him down.
Elu Musician also has lifesteal, and he's going in for this kill. Wafer in a bad spot.
That's a kill. That's a solo bolo.
Solo boloed by a red rocket from Corki there. The big one taking him out.
And this is just now they're one number down.
Corki's going to get side control here. He's going to push all the way up. Looks like they're going to try to bait Baron. Elu Musician should definitely be putting pressure on the side wave right now. Looks like they're just going to try to start a 4v5 or a 5v4 team fight. That can work for their favor as well. However, I do think the side lane pressure was probably a better choice. They're going to try to group up around Baron, though.
I mean, currently we're seeing both teams get into this late portion of the game as Corki is going to be able to reset potentially into full build. He's got 2,400 gold and a cloak. So that's going to allow him to buy a lot of items, and he's just waiting to finish that last one, just picking up as much CS he can, about to break the 300 marker first in the game, first in the series, I believe, as this game is approaching the 40-minute marker.
It looks like North Kansas City is waiting for Gladiator Gaming to make a mistake rather than force them into a bad position on their own there. Elu Musician picking up the kill, I think could have led to a lot more, in my personal opinion. But they're just going to play it safe. And they do have the winning comp, and they're still in a winning position.
Yeah, for sure. As we get closer. The thing to note, though, as we get the full builds, stuff like Manamune is super valuable. And unless we can see a numbers advantage team fight coming out, this could be the game. Right here is the blue buff is going to be taken away by Ezreal.
Oh, something that Chad has pointed out is there's no Lord Dominic's on this Ashe, as we have a ultimate in here from TF. This could be a 3v5. Corki's not there. They're committing to
he's on the backside. That's going to be instantly on top of them. And the Ashe ult is going to see everything fall on top of them. And the blue ult doing so much, but she's going to end up falling as Corki and Ezreal picking up every single kill for their team as Ashe is unable to do anything. As looks like TF is not able to secure anything for his teammates. Only Corki will fall. A quadra kill. He's looking for the penta. He's still alive. He wants it now. Give it to him. He's looking for that penta kill. Shen has flash, but so does Wafer. It's going to try to time it out. They're forcing this away. He's going to flash forward. He has the W. He has it a little too early, not able to do this. Q-Doggo will start up the Soul. And we're looking to pick up Baron.
Oh, they're going to go for both at the same time. This is probably the play you want to go for maximum time saving here. Now Jarvan's probably going to take a very long time to get this dragon, and that's going to wait for enough time to contest him here. Who's going to win this fight?
Oh, he pushes him off. This could be the soul flip.
Low. And they actually are going to get this dragon contested here. Who's going to get it? This is big, actually. If someone gets Dragon Soul, they do give over the Baron, so the Baron falls over. Shen picks it up. We have multiple members coming up. Though. They got the stun going down. Jarvan tries to go back in. Urgot hits the ultimate.
This is exactly what they need. Everyone's going through the middle of the lane, and this is
Ashe coming downtown. Gets the Ashe arrow.
He's gonna force the cleanse instantly, but it's not gonna be enough. He's over the wall to knock him on the Shen. He's not have the ultimate to go forward. He's not gonna have the Shen. United as the Noodle's gonna pick him a kill, and they're gonna have the team evaded 5v3 with 2 members down. Look at the HP bars. The jungler's quite low. This is exactly where this game's state can be changed.
You smell the blood in the water. This is your one opportunity to take this game and take the win right now. Otherwise, you're going to play another game. And who wants to do that? This is your opportunity. 3v5 situation. You're going to get the soul.
They got the soul.
All right, things could be taking a turn for the worse from North Kansas City. I think right now, Gladiator Gaming's, you're in a seat to win, but it's a very small margin here. The Dragon Soul gonna help you win the team fights a little bit, but you gotta take this pressure advantage and you gotta use it right away. So make sure you can get another pick scenario like that. They saw that they had that 4v5. It was a 3v5 temporarily, but with the Shen Ultimate, we know it's a 4v5. And they were able to, they lost the team fight, but they split up the members of North Kansas City, and that's what gave them an opportunity to get back into this game.
I mean, like we talked about it before, again and again, you need to be playing for numbers, and as soon as they did that, as soon as they played around the CDR of that Stand United, of those ultimates, forcing the cleanse, forcing the flash from Ezreal, the game slipped and swapped. Oh my god, it was just over instantly. They were able to get the kills, they got the objective. Ezreal and Leona were unable to do anything.
Right, they're not building any side lane pressure right now, though. I think that's what they have to go for. There's no objectives up. The only objectives are minions.
Oh, he's coming down. He's fast. He's going in. That's going to be the Ashe arrow onto Leona. That's not going to be a pop, though. TF is going to be onto the backside. Going to see the Ezreal is going to not be able to go off, as they're going to force their own ultimate onto both of them. And the Lulu's going to see the ult. Here beyond death is going to be onto 2 of them. As Jerry Fields is still alive. As Ashe is on the backside, she's going to get a triple kill. That's going to be for them. As Luke is going to end up falling down here in the mid lane. As they're going to look to push down the middle with a quadra kill for the Magician. And they can look to end the game.
They have Baron. They have 2 damage-dealing 80 carries here, and that's going to be the win for them most likely. 30 seconds up for the lowest respawn timer there. They engaged hard and weren't able to get scary feels on this Ezreal. Very elusive 80 carry, and he was able to supply enough damage in the back line, and they really needed to kill Scary Feels to win that last team fight for the possible win here. But since they weren't able to do that, it looks like our second game is going to be taken by North Kansas City High School. This is a 1-1 series as Gladiator Gaming loses game 2, and we move on to game 3 coming up.
I mean, that what a game. I mean, we saw it go from a 3-dragon lead and a Baron to 3 dragons leads into this crazy Baron soul performance where they're like, yes, we can get the Baron. I'll get on drag. Then Twisted Fate forces him away. Like, oh, dude, that was what a game. Like, this is like the solo queue environment if I've ever seen one. It was like, holy.
I mean, Gladiator Gaming reminding me a little bit of Dignitas of old, since I'm such a boomer here. And 2 solid Baron throws in a row. Now, they didn't hand over Baron in those 2 fights, but they certainly handed over their advantage. And you got to question whether those were the right plays to make. Now, they did try to go for that win near the end of the game, but it was barely not enough, as, you know, Scary Feels performing excellently on the Ezreal, not getting caught in team fights, and Elu Musician just providing tons of damage, beating the TF on the side lane 1v1. What a crazy performance from these 2 carries from the side of North Kansas City.
I mean, yeah, I think the thing to note, though, is that at last team fight, there was unfortunately a snowball error coming out from Sexy Beast because he popped a snowball, like he let go, thinking he would just like roll in and he was able to get the kills, but he just dropped it a little too early and it blew up on the minion, and the Astral connected, and that's how they were able to get on top of Leona with the Twisted Fate stunning Ezreal, but it just, they needed to hit that ability. That snowball is just so important. As soon as they're able to hit that and follow up, then the fight could begin. But as soon as that CC, then critical ability was missed, it was just kind of over after that.
Yeah, and the dragon stacking 3 Ocean Drakes is nothing to be scoffed at. That's a lot of healing, especially for your tanks. Now, the Urgot was able to cut through some of that and get some kills on some important targets, but wasn't able to get the fear on multiple backliners, is what you really needed from the Urgot. Basically, the CC needed to land on the right targets, and it wasn't happening near the late phases of the game. However, let's switch it back to the early game here. I mean, Gladiator Gaming was in the driver's seat for most of that game.
I mean, yeah, for sure. That's their team comp, though. They were going to win early game. We knew it. The Ashe wins that lane at Ezreal every single time. It's Ezreal has a chance to turn it around if he plays it well, but again, Ashe, if she doesn't mess up, the lane's hers. I mean, really, Ezreal's just not going to be able to control anything. Mid lane, TF has to make plays. Chen can really only act reactively. I mean, eventually they were winning some fights off of it, and then the game was dragged out so long that the scaling ability of Corki, of Ezreal, they just turned on. The game ended after that, really. That was just like a slow bleed out. They got the dragons, they got the fights. They had one little misplay on macro. They really didn't need to go for Baron. Should have gone just guaranteed the soul. You probably actually could have just done that objective, both of them, because Ezreal just clears it quite quickly. But even just getting one is really good. Not getting the soul is probably the worst, though.
Well, okay, everyone, that was an absolutely exciting game 2 in this series so far. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to kick it to a break. We're going to wait and see if Gladiator Gaming can bounce back or if North Kansas City is going to take it home for the win here. And with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be seeing you guys soon. here into Game 3, the final game of the series, with Gladiator Gaming on blue side into North Kansas City High School on the red side. Set and Nocturne Band, same story. We're seeing told again here. Now we have some very fast pick and bands. Bands coming out right now. Victor, Tom Kench, are we going to see the Ezreal? Is that what you want to see here, Flash?
I want to see Ezreal either picked or banned. If you are not picking and banning Ezreal in this type of play style these teams are performing, you either have a counter pick or you're worried you're not going to perform and you ban it away. And with GG's not banning Ezreal, I think that forces North Kansas to ban it.
You could build a comp that counters the Ezreal. Now, that is something you can do here. Maybe they have something set up here, but as expected, Gladiator Gaming going to get the prized Ezreal 80 carry. Both teams seem to perform very well on it. What does North Kansas City have in response?
I mean, Ezreal can get really punished by supports like Leona that can actually stick on top of him, or champions that really can just force him to burn his E. Kai'Sa is not the pick here. Kai'Sa is 100% not the pick that's going to be competitive with Ezreal. And the reason is, Kai'Sa has almost no range when she competes with Ezreal. Ezreal's auto attacks outranger, his Q's outranger, everything he has in his kit outranges Kai'Sa. So unless you pick a support and you force Leona to determine the lane, Leona has all the power for North Kansas, and if she can't win the lane, no one can. Kai'Sa has no self-initiation. She cannot force a fight on her own. She needs Leona to be everything. Leona plays the lane in a Kai'Sa lane.
Right, and if you're Gladiator Gaming, maybe you pick up that Lulu again. Morgana will be good enough. I think the Lulu might be a bit of a better pick here. Some more counter dive as they pick up a Morgana pick here. So Kai'Sa Leona, not the star-studded combo, much like the Kai'Sa Nautilus. Nautilus does do a lot better of a job catching Ezreal over Leona. What do you think about that pick instead?
I'm going to be disagreeing with Nautilus. He can't catch Ezreal because Ezreal can buffer his E, and even if Nautilus kicks the Q, Ezreal just still gets out. Meanwhile, Leona, at least if she hits him with the E at all, and he casts his E, she follows to some degree. The spell shield will make it more difficult, but Nautilus does do better in the Kai'Sa lane against majority of matchups.
I mean, Nautilus will do more damage for the lane phase. I do think the Nautilus ultimate is really good, but Morgana pretty much puts that all to shame. I don't think we're going to be seeing any big engages coming out from Leona onto this Ezreal, with the Black Shield coming up as well. And they're going to pick up a Viego that finally fell through the pick ban, and a Corki in response.
Yep, I don't like the Viego pick when you're playing Ezreal into Kai'Sa Leona. You're playing into a relatively CC short-range 80 carry who does very well when you play inside of her limits. But when you play outside of it, she really struggles because Morgana, Ezreal, and Viego, if Kai'Sa goes in on them with her ultimate, with that killer instinct, she's screwed, unless she's incredibly fed. But if you're going into her and she can get that peel from the Leona or other tanks on her team, she's just going to get popping stacks and passives on you all day for free, and she's going to be having a jolly good time.
I do think that North Kansas City seems like they're building a bit of a dive comp, and Kai'Sa does play into the dive comp. That is part of her kit with the ultimate, able to get into the backline of CC'd opponents. However, maybe doesn't want to be doing that into a Ezreal Morgana, who are going to be possibly kiting back very far away from your own team. But if Ezreal ever gets caught out, then it looks like North Kansas City's comp is going to be playing very well towards that if Ezreal gets caught out. I don't think that's going to be the scenario with the Morgana protection they have set up here, as we're looking into the first jungle pick here. Volibear from North Kansas City.
It's not jungle yet. It can be top lane
right.
Volibear.
You're right. Top
it is a
lane
flex
Volibear
pick.
Does exist. As Viego also has a top lane possibility. But
and mid. Viego can be forced mid if necessary.
It looks like they are going to flex the Viego around.
They are. I mean, Skarner
Skarner's going to do very well into Kai'Sa and Corki. Honestly, making sure that Corki can't get away with the Skarner pick would be very, very good, as well as the Kai'Sa. And Skarner catching people who are out of position is his duty, is his life's goal. That's what Skarner lives for. So it's on this Kai'Sa and Corki to make sure that they're never out of position. And then Gladiator Gaming just going to round out their team fight with a Gnar pick in the top lane.
I mean, currently the game is going to be quite difficult for either teams just because currently the champions they have are very ult based. I think Morgana, Viego, Skarner are very like champions that require ultimates to be pawned off correctly. And if you can't, you're not going to be doing very well. On the same side of North Kansas, it's even more true. Kaisa needs her champions on her team to land ults. Kaisa is one of the few AD carries that you can blame your teammates on entirely because she requires her teammates to land abilities, to provide passives in lane, to just
Yeah,
be a champion. And
it
if your teammates can't do that, you're screwed.
she really needs someone like, so that's why they've traditionally paired her with Leona Nautilus, someone who has a lot of CC to get her stacks going. Now, with that, we have two team comps finished here with finally out with a Karma and Shen pick. So it looks like GG is heavily focusing on a pick poke team comp here. So they got the Ezreal, they got the Karma. Now, the problem is they really lack the team fight damage. I don't see any big team fight ultimates that can be landing here that like a Oriana, like maybe even a Azir. So they don't have big team fight damage. So we're expecting an early to mid game comp here. They're going to play around the picks, play around the high mobility, and they're going to, on the opposite side here with North Kansas City, they're going for a pick as well, but they have a bit beefier of a front line with a Volibear Shen and a bit more set back line like a Kaisa Corki.
The thing to note though is the position that North Kansas has picked because of their AD carry is dive. They are a dive comp for and foremost. If Leona goes in, if Kaisa goes in, Shen can follow with the ult to protect
And
them.
Volibear goes in, Shen
If
goes in,
Volibear
everyone
goes
goes in.
in,
They all go in.
they all have to go forward. But the thing to note though is Corki, if he goes in and gets potentially caught out by Skarner with his own ultimate, Karma has a really good position here to being able to go lock it and just kite away with their team. And they do kiting away with Ezreal building slow items or just Divine Sunder is the clear mythic choice here. He's going to be able to do a lot of poke before the fight really begins. Corki can do the same, but Ezreal's cooldown compared to Corki's R cooldown is not this. It's not going to be the same amount of damage. Corki requires AOE damage to equal Ezreal's poke. And again, his team wants to go in. He's going to be a little late to the party unless he can get a package. Kaisa can't really do damage until her team goes in. They have to pull the trigger for her to become a champ. So there's a lot that needs to be done right for North Kansas, but if they are ahead, they will run over Gladiators. Meanwhile, Gladiators, they just play it slow and steady to win this race because they are definitely going to outscale with this Ezreal.
I think I take this a little bit differently. I think Gladiator Gaming has a low damage team comp, which to me doesn't really win in the late game. So they have Karma, who's half support. They have a Viego who does do damage, but he's not going to be doing big AOE damage, and he might be going the Bruiser build. That's pretty typical these days. Now Ezreal does do a lot poke damage, but if I'm comparing their damage, the Ezreal Karma, to a Kaisa Corki, I think that North Kansas City has a lot more damage. So I think the scaling factor is in their side, if you ask me. Now, Shen, not the biggest scale in the world. Volibear, not the biggest scaler in the world. But they're just going to be the wall to protect their damage dealers for this comp.
I think that North Kansas really only has Corky to scale into the late game. Kaisa is a mid to early, as an early to mid game champion. She definitely requires items to and item advantages to be competitive with other AD carries in the late game. Leona and Shen, notable champions who do not scale very well into late game. Leona does well because she doesn't need experience to be tanky, but she does need gold and items to keep up with her opponents. And if she again falls behind, she suffers a lot of the same issues. Not as much as for a stage champion like Nautilus would have, but still a lot. And Volibear, he needs his team to be able to do damage for him because he can set up a lot of CC, he can get a lot of engage and do some damage himself, but he's not a finisher champion. He can really just initiate and get some just draw attention, hit CC with his Q, but it's not enough to just single handedly carry a fight.
All right, everyone. This is it. This is the last game. These are the last time these players are going to play on the stream for today. The champions are locked in. The game's ready to go. And we're ready to take a quick break just so that we can time everything up here. So, with that, we're going to be signing out very quickly to get everything set up in order for the last game. Who's going to take it? The winner of this series for week 2 of the pre made Rampage.
Okay, guys, we're going to be here for Game 3 of the Premade Rampage, and we're going to see both teams be one-on-one. Currently going to be the last game of the series. The winner will take the entire thing. What do you think about these itemization?
Nice 5-point start here. Yeah, itemization coming out. I do think we got Doran's shield top lane. That makes sense. You're going to get poked down. However, Doran's blades in the bot lane, probably for the aggression. Both teams wanting to get the win there. Doran blade on Corki as well is fine. So I think everyone's doing all right with their item choices here. But I think something we pointed out before the stream came back live, Scary Feels deciding that cleanse is needed for extra safety. But I think we're going to have to disagree. You need to be going in for more damage here.
Yeah, for sure. Especially the fact that a lot of people don't realize is cleanse does not work against Skarner. It is a suppress, and suppresses do not get cleansed. If you hover over the cleanse ability when you play League of Legends, it will exclude suppressions and airborns. Meanwhile, Skarner's ult is a 1.75 suppress, and that literally just screws you over. You cannot do anything about it. But when you take cleanse, you don't build USS, the item that actually helps you in this scenario.
Yeah, so that's going to be an all-around negative choice here. It's going to help early lane if Kai'Sa ever gets put in a bad snare or stunned by the Skarner, but overall I think that that's definitely going to be hurting Kai'Sa in the long run there. So Scary Feels, we're going to have to disagree with your summoner choices there. Flash, I'm going to have to ask you, based on the last two games, who do you think has the edge in this Game 3?
I think Boar Mask and we've seen Scary Feels perform incredibly well on Ezreal and when they're ahead, and I feel like whoever team gets their AD carry ahead will play better. I do play a lot of Kai'Sa. The champion, unfortunately, is not as strong as it normally is. The reliance on your support to initiate makes the champion a lot less valuable at the moment without her being overstatted. So I just think this game is going to require a lot from her team to win. So I kind of want to favor I want to say Galaxy, but I keep saying Gladiator.
It's Gladiator Gaming.
Gladiator Gaming. I want to favor them, but dude.
Gladiator Guardians. Oh, sorry.
But the top lane matchup is in the mid is where I get a little bit uneasy because Corki doesn't really have a lot of gank. He can get out of most ganks just because there is no CC. Top lane Chen eventually has a stun that Karma has to burn flash to dodge. And I just don't see a way of them being able to out-damage their opponents in team fights unless they get way more poke damage than Corki can.
Yeah, I do think that the comps operate a bit similarly in wanting to get picks. So it's really going to come down to the vision in the early to mid game here. So who's going to get the prio to get the wards down, to get the advantage, and then getting a pick afterwards. However, it looks like so far Kaisa and Leona have pushed in. Oh, but their bat's going to be delayed. That's
yeah.
actually huge.
That's
They
huge. They were
definitely want to
able to
get the
pull off a
bat.
cheater recall. They're going to still recall here. They can't anymore. They
No,
could have got a cheater
definitely
recall,
can't.
which allows them to back into Colt or another really strong item. But we're just going to see repeated poke coming out, and he missed a Q on a stationary Ezreal target. We're going to have to question that.
All right, Cute Doggo Noises currently has a Sheen, so did a quick clear, came back, now has higher prio and is stronger than the Skarner currently. So if they fight right now, Cute Doggo will win, but opts to go for top side instead. I really question this decision instead of going for that Rift Scuttle right there. So Skarner, Sexy Beast, going to pick up double Scuttle for no reason. Cute Doggo Noises
Yep.
going to go
Oh
for
no, he's going to be able to catch him out here. He has to burn his flash to get away. Flash is coming out from both. The Skarner is trying to ping for his teammate to come. But this is a double scuttle advantage that we talked about. Wafer's going to fight this. If you see Wafer fighting you 2v1, either he is going to int or his teammate is on their way.
Yeah. And then Cute Doggo had the advantage to get that Rift Scuttle, sorry, to get that Scuttle Crab, and just decides to go for the mid lane gank. Burns Flash, trades the Flash, so at least he gets that, but man, that's a setback if you ask me.
I mean, also, I don't think the camera caught this, but there was a small mistake on the warding, trying to get that ward over the wall. But again, he's just going to use his E and get out with that movement speed. But look at the ward position in the bot side. Look where Ezreal's standing. There's no reason that ward ever needs to be there. If you are an 80 carry player or you play bot lane, you would know that if you step in that crack and you go to a little bit of left of that stone in the river, in the middle stone, you can get a ward over the wall, but a small mess up, if you're not close enough, will cost you a ward, and you will ward literally nothing.
Yeah, and a strong vision advantage around Dragon already for Gladiator Gaming here. You can see a lot of wards in the river. Now, North Kansas City does have one important ward on the Dragon. However, I always favor vision around an objective rather than on the objective itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing to note, though, for Gladiators is they kind of have to put it a little closer to the objective because they don't have blast cone favorability because they're on red side. So they need to put it on so they can at least see people get on top of it. And this is a potential lane game.
Tricky lane
If you ask
game.
both summoners, I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. Kaisa's taking a lot of damage, and she just cannot really afford. Meanwhile, Galaxy
engage
top
on
lane,
Ezreal.
his DM. He's going to pop the flash instantly as the teleport comes down immediately from his mid laner as they're trying to follow up. The CC lands onto the support. She can't move. She can't get out of here. She's going to fall for a first blood for Diego, confirmed with that ultimate, as that's going to be a massive wave topside, going to get crashed again. But see, the CS lead is still in the favor of Shen. He's doing a better job.
I think Karma should definitely have the CS lead here on the top side. Range champion should be able to poke out the Shen, no problem. Should be able to get the CS, no problem as well. So I think a bit of a failing there for Dodunga on this Karma. But, you know, just cruising on top lane isn't a bad idea either. But man, that's around a 10 CS advantage, and Shen should be losing.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that's to be noting is it's really actually hard for a lot of players to play the matchup between poking and getting CS when you're playing that type of matchup. A lot of players just go into one mode and they forget about the other, and it causes their pick to not be as good. So Karma really needs to be getting the leads here for her team, especially in being able to take two really good advantageous backs, and she's just not going to be able to pull too much off.
And with all the shenanigans that happen mid lane early, you know, Elude Musician doesn't have that much of a CS lead either. I mean, it's there, don't get me wrong, but it's not as big as we expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean, this current situation regarding the Q from Wafer just allows him to auto-attack minions.
I mean, look at
so
that
much
cooldown.
more.
Look at that cooldown on the Q.
Yeah, it's just so dumb. Champion busted. I mean, Shadow Isles is just giga strong at the moment. A lot of those champions just do really well into each other or into other champs just because their cooldowns are just so low.
All right, we see here we have a bottom wave slow pushing. Now, Cute Doggo's on the other side of the map. He can start pathing down. And if they time this right, it would be an amazing dive. And it would be something that they want to do. North Kansas City wants to set up a dive like this, but I don't think they're timing it right.
He's level 6. They could easily do it, but I don't think they'll be able to get it off in time, as we're going to see.
No, they're pushing. They're just hard pushing now. They're hard shoving. So I think they want to take the reset instead. But I think they really could have coordinated a very successful dive there with the Shen ultimate as well. I think that would be the play. but they don't recognize that opening.
Yep, for sure. And the thing to note, though, is you can actually start a dive without using Volibear's ultimate, and then after taking some damage, you just cast ult to disable it and reset tower aggro. So tower aggro does increasingly do damage every time it connects. Oh, we're gonna see potential. The flash comes out. That's instantly what they needed, though. He's gonna flash forward. Has used the W already. As Shen comes out, but he's gonna miss it. Wait for you're taking too much damage. You're going too far deep. As currently Shen is showing up. That CC Sexy Beast. Sexy Beast is gonna fall to a gank that he started.
I would have to say that is a bit of unfortunate misplay there from the side of Sexy Beast and Wafer. Coordination wasn't there. The communication wasn't there. Both burning their stuns at the same time. If you watch that replay, you'll see that Wafer committed his stun and missed it because Sexy Beast went in for the flash ultimate, and we have another gank coming here. Q Doggo versus Karma. And this
note though is Shen has flash, he needs to walk forward, but he can't really do it. Power of
a little bit too far.
Clicks R. It's just
she's just got Pokemon on the way out.
She just keeps always like, hey, do you want to show up? I mean, we can play this game all day. Oh, she goes instantly on top of Ezreal, though. She's going to take a lot of damage, and Kai'Sa is going to actually take the blunt end of that trade, losing about half of her HP at the moment. And Bormas just pushing in the pressure. Up by 20 CS, has that pull in. The worst possible fear for North Kansas fans is Ezreal on Bormask, as he was an absolute monster in that game 1.
Oh, gonna take a tower shot. Doesn't do that much damage though. Viego coming down. Potential dive here. Now I think this one's a bit risky, but you know that Shen's out of globals. Doesn't have teleport or the ultimate, so that is a possible scenario.
Forcing it back from Kai'Sa though. Kai'Sa has to back here. She can't save
this
wave. She's gonna lose. Yes. Ooh, Corky's showing up. They want to contest this objective.
Yeah, they don't have prio top side or mid. They don't have prio top or mid. This would be an unwise decision. You don't go for the Rift Herald, Sexy Beast. It's not worth it. You're gonna die if you get too close. Don't fly too close to this son of a Rift Herald. It's gonna bite you back. Wait, they give up. They're giving it up.
Wait. No, the secure. Who got it, though? Oh, no, it was the red, though. The ult comes down from Ezreal. That's going to be enough. That's exactly what they need. Q Doggo is in the wrong position at the wrong time, and he's going to end up falling as it turns around in a dime.
They could have engaged onto Sexy Beast so much earlier. I don't know what they were doing. They had the advantage. They had 3 members there. They could have went for it, and they just kind of... I'd rather get the kill on the jungler and then get the Rift Herald if that was me.
Yeah, for sure. I totally understand. As we're going to see another potential fight happening as he's going to get the stun, though. And the thing is, Viego can take a lot of these bad trades just because he can force these waves. That E, that Shroud is just really impactful. He's going to take a reset on this lane. Dragon is starting up soon. He doesn't have teleport. He wants to get into a better position on his items, backing with about 1,000 gold.
Oh, he got stopped here, and he can't back for Dragon now. And with the Rift Herald, that should be a free Dragon given over. We'll see if they play it out correctly from here. Corgi should roam down now.
Ezreal has a lot of poke, though. Corki cannot really mash it. He has his own Manamune, but without Sheen, Corki's poke is piss poor.
They don't have the Shen globals. They didn't time it correctly. Shen globals are not up, and they just give up the whole Dragon.
Yep.
Even with the Cryo in the mid lane. They had the mid lane Cryo flash.
Yeah, they just also could have roamed down the Shen if need be, and they're just going to take the objective from themselves. It's going to be a one-plating crit, quite low, but not low enough to the point where they can just force a take on a single back. And look at the bot lane. Look at the CS lead on that Ezreal pick. You're playing Kai'Sa. Leona, you're a kill lead. If you aren't winning with kills, you're already lost.
Yeah, not all is doom and gloom, but I think they could have traded a lot heavier for this Dragon. Now, they did get a lot of turret plates mid, so we can check the gold advantage for Corki here. And he's got a solid 600 gold lead over the Viego here as Corki's making a play on the bot side.
Oh, he has the package potentially as the ult comes down for both of them. He's going to ult over onto the wrong side of the wall. Morgana's popping her ult on as Shen shows up under the tower. He's going to hit the ult on the one. That's going to be the stopwatch on the other. They're going to get a double kill on the bot side. Shen using his ultimate for his team to get that advantage as the gold lead flips towards North Kansas.
Hey, imagine if they had that combo available when Dragon was up.
I know, right? They won't have to lose the objective. That only comes 1 every 4 minutes.
Yep. But now Karma's going to get a free lane topside. Shen's going to have to back and try to catch up there, but could probably lose that minion wave or minion and a half wave. However, bot side's going to push in, so Ezreal finally taking a hit here, but he probably is in a pretty good position. Kaisa is still down about 600 gold on the bot side. You wouldn't know it unless you check the stats. But that is a 600 gold deficit for a Kaisa that we said that we wanted to be ahead.
Oh, as we're going to see the fight come out from Musical, the ult forward, and then he's trying to fight for it, but Wafer does not have the follow-up to continue to fight Musician in this lane, and top lane's going to see another potential gank coming up. There is no flash on Galaxy. He's trying to get the root. The ult comes down. The stun is a little too much, but that's going to be the blast cone pop. He has the tenacity to run away. He's going to speed himself up. He's waiting for that ultimate cooldown. It's almost up. He needs to click R, though. He needs his E to give him that shielding. Going to try... pop it again, making his way out. No one on his team is coming to help him. He's going to be left alone to die. He had so much time, but no one came to his rescue.
I'd still think that Dudunga was dead to rights there. However, yeah, maybe someone could have, maybe a fast Skarner could have ran right in there to save him. But it would have been a losing scenario, needing multiple members there. And if mid lane Viego leaves, Corgi can just follow right after. And that probably just cascades into an even worse skirmish.
Oh yeah, for sure. Currently going to see bot lane. Pretty tricky scenario. Currently Kai'Sa's down by a level in terms of just CS and gold, and she doesn't even have boots. She just has the parts of Kraken Slayer. And a lot of Kai'Sa players will talk about right now that Kraken Slayer is just an item you have to build because of damage, when a lot of ADCs just don't even build it. It's arguably one of the worst marksman items compared to the current meta, and it just doesn't have the stats necessary.
Kraken Slayer does do the most damage by far. However, we're seeing a lot more damage from the other laners, specifically mid laners on the control mages here, as they're able to get the first turret down. Burns a flash, teleport coming in a little too late, bad timing there, as Shen isn't going to get caught by the Viego. Viego going in, Wafer going in on the Corgi. Is he going to get the kill? He does. 600 gold bounty, and he also picks up the soul there, possessing Corgi's body. Going to use that to push in the wave. It probably use range attacks to get them turret. But wow, what a huge gold bounty just handed right back over to this Viego.
I mean, currently the gold lead is still in the favor of North Kansas. I mean, we've seen it flip multiple times, but not really this way before. Kaisa and Leona are in a situation with ult and in Flash with Ezreal that they can go for something. They need to look for something. This is your golden opportunity. You have all your sums up. You have your items. You're at about full HP. You need to pull the trigger. It's almost
down. Are they changing the lanes here? Shen and Viego might actually be a lot better as he sets up a taunt for cute doggo noises. He gets the stun. They're getting the damage done. Wafer's trying to do his best to survive, but he can't make it out of there alive. Dudunga accidentally burns Flash to try to shield Wafer there, but it isn't going to work. So now Flash down. Corgi to pick up the farm on the top side. And what do you think about this lane swap with Shen going mid instead of Corgi?
It's way better for both of them, but the thing to note though is it really doesn't matter at this point. You actually want Shen to place top with Sand United because of how close Dragon is.
You think they should have done it earlier?
Yeah, much earlier or not at all.
I agree, but I agree. They could definitely lane swap to catch waves, but Corgi obviously has a way easier time into Karma than Shen ever did. So I think that they could have lane swapped a lot earlier and then swapped back at this point. Instead, Q Doggo Noise is going in, the bear clawing at this Karma, and importantly, Elu Musician still picks up the kill there. Looks like we have some pretty aggressive plays coming out from North Kansas City.
Another dragon to do so. How much can you sacrifice before it's almost unwinnable? As we just missed off the backs.
Well, why aren't they killing Wafer? What? That was a very confusing situation.
I think Doggo was trying to get his teammate to just stop looking at the goddamn item shop and play the game. He's got so much gold. It's like I want to send it. It's like I want to.
You should know your build already, right? I mean, you shouldn't be debating that much on buying items. But as you said, importantly, they've handed over the dragons. They have the trifecta of 3 different dragons. They're on their way to getting the Elder, and I think that's something we've seen throughout this whole series. Is Gladiator Gaming is a lot better at securing these dragons than North Kansas City.
Did I just see a control ward get dropped to camp? Oh my god, onto the turret. Yeah. What? That was not worth it at all. But they're looking to take second Herald, which has some potential in the top lane, but Garner's calling for it. Shen actually doesn't do very well into Viego if he doesn't have a game, because the auto attack matchup definitely favors the champion who does percent HP and true damage.
That is true. That is true. Now, he can build armor, and he has the healing
Yeah,
reduction. That does help
Kaisa
against
could have
Viego.
potentially taken that turret if she just kept walking away after she didn't stop walking. She like auto walk away, auto walk away, auto walk away.
All right, we'll see where this Rift Herald goes. It's surprisingly on the mid laner instead of the jungler here. So Cute Doggo Noise is opting not to pick it up.
I think both these teams have realized where their carries are. Boar Mask had that game one potential, but look, the mid laners are the team's main damage and playmakers, not just in champions, but mostly because of how they play the game. We saw Corki last game from Illusion doing, ill musician, just playing absolutely out of his mind, hitting so much damage, and he won his team the game along with Scary Fields. But unless we can see Scary Fields bounce back on this pick, it's going to be really hard for him to solo carry.
It looks like we might have a premature team fight setting up on this bot side here. Both teams playing for Dragon Vision as we have it up in 3 minutes. A bit early to be playing this hard too, but they're going to go for it anyway. But solid blue side Vision in the
Yep, as we're going to see mid lane pushing in a wave, trying to get something as Corki.
So they rotated their bot lane to mid already. And that's smart because they know that tower is going down. So might as well get them to mid early.
Yep, and that's actually surprising. Skarner's going to force the ultimate coming out from he's going to see him down right there. He's going to fall down to the Boar Master himself, picking up his first kill of the game, taking out the mid turret as the supports and junglers show up. They're trying to finish this out for themselves as we're going to see the Storm come down. Cute Doggo's going to get spotted out. But look at top lane. Look at how low those turrets are.
Elu Musician, a pretty solid half a minute away from that flash. That would have saved him from that scenario. Unfortunately, wasn't up in time. And that is a pretty clear gank in the mid lane. However, that Skarner combo is not going to be available for the next dragon. We said it before in the other game. We'll say it again. You probably want to save that for the dragon fight. They burned it a little early for possibly a better reset. But I think that you should be saving these for the important objective fights coming up, especially a 4th Drake.
Yeah, currently top lane's tower is being super low. We could potentially see Waver just going to kind of poke him out, taking a little too much damage from towers. But look, that's about 100 to 200 HP on that top turret. And he's going to be able to shove this lane, take the turret, give his team some gold. We're still a minute off this 4th dragon, but this 4th dragon is the most important one in the game. Whoever takes this could definitely change the course.
All right, both teams playing the farm game so far. And from this position, it's looking quite even. However, I think that in this, because of the dragon stats, it's pretty much in the favor of Gladiator Gaming at this moment. And they're probably going to be getting the advantage in the pushes before the dragon as well. So that should give them the next dragon. Now, it's not guaranteed, but it's looking like that's going to be how it plays out.
Yep, the thing to note about playing for objectives, especially
he's going in.
Environment, is you play for this thing. You go mid, objective, cryo. You just keep doing this over and over again. You get mid, you go for the objective. You can't get objective, you just keep getting cryo. You get forwards. You keep doing this over and over and over again, and eventually you try to get kills. And we're gonna see the teleport forced out from Corki. Look at Kaisa's HP. That's a lethal amount.
Yep. Also, Lana almost half health as well. They're going to be popped in the river.
A little mistake. That ult's coming down. That's going to try to force them away, but that's so much damage as Ezreal does not have his own ultimate up, and that's going to see him instantly onto Scare Fields. He's going to fall, and also going to get a pick onto the Skarner, but looks like Doggo is trying to run away with his team, with the tanks. Formark is just tanking the front load of damage as the flash comes out from Corki. He's trying to make his way over the wall, but Safe is unsafe here as he's going to fall. As Cute Doggo also falls down. They're going to get the kill. That's almost a triple for Sexy Beast as he secures a double at least, and that's another kill. They can push out mid. They can get this turret along with the objective.
Unfortunately for North Kansas City, that was a fight that they needed to play to because of the earlier decisions that they made, and the fact that this is a triple dragon. Now this is going to be the Dragon Soul and Infernal Soul at that. So that's going to be even more damage over this Ezreal poke, who's going to be doing a whole lot of poking in the upcoming events here. So getting turrets is going to be more damage. Getting the Baron is going to be more damage. Team fights is going to be more damage. That is a huge, huge loss over to the side of North Kansas City here.
But also note the poke that comes out from Ezreal every time he gets AoE additional burst, which basically makes him have a quirky R. It's exactly what he wants. I never even thought about it before on the Dragon, but now it just works perfectly for his itemization, what he's going for. And he's gonna finish off with probably the slow armor pen item, and he just plays around that and he prevents his team from getting run and clapped on. But Wafer, this could be it. As his teleport's coming down from his teammates, he's trying to get around, but Corey's gonna blow that around as he's trying to get himself around, gets the extra shooting from Karma. Exactly what he needs to survive. He's just too freaking tanky as Kaisa shows up, trying to get on top of either of them. Not enough though, as you're gonna see a flash come out. It's gonna slow from Galaxy.
Leona's behind, she can flank.
The ult's gonna hit from Ezreal. They could look for this. Shen's right
unfortunately,
there.
Wafer pushing too far. Yeah, that Wafer unfortunately pushing too far again. Gets caught on the side lane. We did see that along the TF. Now on the Viego here, not waiting for his team to get.
Ezreal's steal again.
And that's just making it even worse.
Too sad. Ezreal, the champion, who doesn't have a ton of mana problems because he just has Mana Mune, now doesn't even have less because he's spam to his heart content and pushing in those waves.
Yeah, he's gonna get even lower cooldowns. Not gonna worry about mana. Are they gonna go for an early Baron again? Now remember, in game 2, this did burn them a couple of times and ultimately led to their loss. However, their comp is a lot better in the team fight this time around, and they have a Dragon Soul and a pumped up Ezreal with the kicks.
There's no teleport on Corki. Corki's in base. They can't go for this in time.
They're too far away. They're too far away. You're right.
They have to go for a steal. If Shen can steal this, they save the game. But if they can't, it's not going to be enough.
Doggo's here.
More down. Doggo needs to hit his ultimate over the wall. Wafer can see it there. He can potentially go over. He starts to fight Doggo, but Doggo's over the wall. Doggo's going to fall too early. It's a 1v3 situation. He's staying alive. Karma's keeping him in.
Massive shield.
It's just going to keep him alive again and again. That's going to be another fight. Terribly taking Gormas. Looks to finish this off. As Sexy going for the stun. Gonna get slowed down.
What BM? What BM right
What BM, dude? As this is not looking good. He can potentially tank this.
Oh, they're cutting themselves off from the base. They need to go back to the base. What are they doing? Oh, they could have cut them off there. They didn't know that they could have cut them off. Yeah, they let them slink back into the base, but they could have. Oh, what a massive!
Oh, wait. That's potentially something. No ult available, but Gormas has that healing. He has those abilities. Push in mid. You need to do the top mid strategy. Have someone go top, someone go mid, push in the waves. Ezreal is just instantly over the wall, as so is the Skarner, though. They're looking for something here. Gormas has the damage. As he's just going to with his teammates as they look to push this down. They currently have a 4,000 gold lead. Kaisa just unable to do anything at the moment.
Man, what a snowball now. This is about a 6K, probably 5.5K gold lead as we have the top lane turret, mid-tier turret going down as well. I don't think they should go for any more than that. They should probably reset, but they're gonna push their luck here. They have an Ezreal with lots of poke damage and they're not afraid to use it. Looks like they're gonna do a scattered back. I always recommend backing at the same time here to make sure you get your teammates coordinated back on the field. Ezreal in a potential dangerous situation is going to eventually back out.
Yep.
But man, what a series of events, Flash. What a series of events here.
I mean, we're going to see 2 pointless actually securing Baron. I think the lack of patience and just not their wrong confidence coming out from North Kansas. They really didn't expect their team the enemy team to just take it instantly. And Ezreal, not a really good jungle champion. Not jungler, sorry. Champion at just taking Barons, but with his jungler there tanking for him, with that Viego just providing so much additional damage. He's able to do it quite quickly, and with Corki not having teleports just backing too early, just unfortunate timing.
Yeah, and honestly, it's really looking like the Ezreal pick was a pivotal champion in this series for both sides. And they just handed it right over to Gladiator Gaming, and they just sucked it right up. They invited it with open arms. Gormas comfortable on this champion. Oh,
that's half HP already. Dude, that could have just been like that's a 5-man. That's 5 people.
We have an Elder coming up in a minute. Oh, Ezreal also has the slows as well.
Yeah.
So it's harder for them to get away. They still have Baron. They're pushing down all the mid-tier turrets here. And honestly, I don't think there's much that North Kansas can do to mount a defense here. Baron is finally dropped.
don't have to wait for
Elder
it.
coming up 40 seconds now. Ezreal just solo poking. His team is not even nowhere close, and he's just poking the enemy team. Shen has taunt flash, you know.
Ezreal has E. Has flash E. Doesn't even look. Clicks is just. Oh, that's almost a kill. That's
Oh,
gonna
he
be a
got with the
kill.
auto.
Oh, he got it with the auto attack, the follow up, and they're gonna push through mid. If they
North
need to, they
Kansas
have
City
the
should just
pick.
engage. Honestly, just either lose the game off the engage or get some YOLO win. Don't wait to get poked down like this.
He's not friendly enough. That's gonna be the flash coming out onto the musician that they do not need to see. Goes into the backside, but he's still alive. His Galaxy is going to end up falling 1-1 as we're gonna see Bormath taking so much
Oh, he
damage. He ends up
falls.
falling down to the Corki, but Corki's still alive. He ends up going too, but that's like entire team wipe, and that looks like Gladiators will take the game through the inhibs. Too long of a respawn unless Shen gives you a miracle steal.
Yeah, they might not have enough damage without the Karma, but she's going to teleport back in, so that's 4 members in. There's going to be a 4v1 for about 12 seconds here. Looks like they're going to go for the end, and that's a Shen that just got deleted right in the middle of the turrets there. No members are going to make it there. It's only High there and Qdoggo, but I don't think they're going to be able to mount enough of defense. The Nexus is going down. The final hits are going out. They're rushing out of the inhib spawn. And that is the last game. GG to GG. Gladiator Gaming takes the series and they cinch the victory. They have secured themselves as the clear and solid winner of this series. Flash, what do you think about their final performances in this
I
last
mean,
game?
Gladiator, they did a really good job in game one. I honestly thought it was going to be a 2-0, and especially that, but they had some really bad Baron calls, honestly, and the
Yep.
objectives. And
Yeah, that's true.
eventually they lost in game two, and that's just prove that Ezreal is a very important champion when people just can't punish him. I mean, if enemy teams don't understand how to play against Ezreal, and I think Kansas should have just not taken the chance and say, we ban this champ. We cannot pick him. We have to ban him. And when they didn't, they got picked. They lost. They picked an even harder matchup. Kaisa does not play well into Ezreal. She cannot really do that much. And the bot lane just 0 and 6 together. They weren't able to do anything. The cleanse made it even harder. No ignite. And it was over after that. After champ select, honestly, only way I could see this game winning is if Musician pulled off an incredible game three like he did in game two.
Yeah, I really think that if you're going to be countering the Ezreal, now they did pick they thought that the Kai'Sa Leona would be the counter. However, we didn't see enough jungle attention at the correct points. I think we pointed out a couple of times during the game at what waves that the jungler could have been down there for a possible dive and gank to really set the Ezreal behind, but it didn't really work out. And if we're just checking the damage stats, I mean, Bormask here at the top of the chart very clearly. However, Elu Musician is in second place, and he is a few 110,000 damage behind, but he's a clear second place winner. Both poke champions. How do you think Elu Musician did at the other side of this game?
I mean, I think honestly, he's the ace. He was the best performing player on his team. I mean, Kaisa and Leona did not do very well at all. They got out damaged by the every other champion on the opposing team. They got out damaged by their top laner, by their jungler. They did not do that well. Meanwhile, Shen watched everyone on the opposing team outdamage him still. I get Karma, that's fine, but Skarner, they're just ahead. And I mean, almost saw Morgana outdamage the Volibear. I mean, it's about 700 damage difference. That's pretty close. So
Yeah.
he
I,
he was the ace for his team. I think he performed pretty well, but unfortunately, bot lane was just too big of an AD gap.
yeah, I think something I would have liked to see is a little more support for Elu Musician, as I think he did a very good job, as you said. Probably the ace, I agree. And, he didn't really have that much backup. He did have the Shen ultimate every once in a while. So maybe picking something like an enchanter support bottom to help activate this Corgi in the mid lane, Corgi with a gun in the mid lane. And I think that would have worked out a little bit better for them. I think they chose pretty much a losing support every game. Maybe looking for, in their future games, picking a winning support, more enchanters in that direction. But if you had to throw an MVP out there, Flash, who would it be?
For this entire series, I will say it has to be Mask. He played an incredible game one. His game two was arguably the worst game he had of the entire series. Um, did not perform very well about 1-6, 1-7. Definitely could be improved on. I think Sexy Beast and Wafer performed better than him in game two. But in game three, he definitely showed up to play and was just putting so much damage on the board, being what you need to be as an AD carry, and definitely doing what he had to get done. And if he's not the MVP, I think it's Sexy Beast without a doubt.
Yeah, I think that Bormask also earns my MVP. I mean, just the way he played so aggressively on the Ezreal, not afraid, no fear, getting the poke down. Honestly, because controlling the game purely through his poke. I mean, yeah, he had a lot of support. He had a lot of support, but was confident with that support to get the poke down and was, sending champions the other way, sending them back to the respawn, healing up, getting them out of the game, making them low before team fights. So I think that Bormas did an excellent job there. And I think we should be expecting Ezreal bans in the future. Pretty might even be a perma ban against Gladiator Gaming here in the upcoming games.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we could potentially see more and more champions, especially the safe or AD carries, be taken off the table because they're just too good. I mean, what do you do when Ezreal gets basically two flashes? You're playing Leona, and your Kai'Sa just sits there and is like, I can't play the game. I don't do damage. I can't auto attack
Yeah.
anyone. I just click Q and W, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's just really hard.
I think you could pick better champions against the Ezreal. I mean, some champions that run really fast, so you can just outrun Ezreal. Yeah, he'll have a moment of burst, like with his flash, with his phase, is teleporting there. But maybe something like a Garen or even the Skarner pick that they were using. If you suppress the Ezreal, well, then he can't do any of that mobility as well. Or Garen can silence him and then run him down. So I think that they could have picked better champions into the Ezreal to shut him down. I don't think Leona Kaisa was the answer, specifically Leona. However, it showed in this game that if you can't shut down the Ezreal, very potent, even for both sides.
I mean, yeah, the champion has just been good for like about 3, 4 months now. We've seen him coming in and out of pro play, and he's just mostly comp dependent at higher MMR brackets, but in lower MMR brackets, he just takes the game single handedly. He just will rip it wide open as long as you can't shut him down. And I think a lot of the miscommunication from North Kansas caused this Ezreal to be even a bigger problem. We talked about the failed potential dives that was there. And I think if they were able to get on top of him and shut him down, this game could have been easily theirs because Corki just definitely outscales him in late game because of the AoE damage and poke.
Yeah, I also think that for Zedunga, the Karma pick champ on the top side is probably a good pick, especially for the style that he likes to play, always teleporting away from his lane, sacrificing CS. As you can see here, only 600 gold above the Shen, so not that much above. However, it was providing a lot of support for the team. So for Dodonga, I think this is the style you want to go with this team. I think it's working out for you. And when you sacrifice your CS, it doesn't affect you as much as when it was the Cho'Gath, right? So that's what I'm thinking for them. So all good things there for Gladiator Gaming. I think we're getting very close to signing out here. Flash, is there any closing words you want to leave with here?
I would say both these teams have a ton of potential to beat each other. I mean, definitely we saw game two. It was a series that went all the way. And I think a lot of the errors for both these teams come from objective control and draft. And if you can clean up those, which are very easy things to clean up, you can definitely start taking more and more games off your opponents.
Now, you heard it from Flash here, guys. Do your VOD reviews, talk with your team, talk about those vision of control around the objectives. I think that's going to be it for us here at Risen Esports for this Rampage week 2. And Golden Gladiators are going to be, sorry, not Golden Gladiators. Gladiator Gaming going to be
Right.
taking the prized win there. And I keep doing the joke for it. And that's going to be it for today. I'm Crimz. I'm joined by my co-caster Flash here, Flash of Night. And we're going to be signing out.